obvious that.
This is Fern Halls.
And you are listening to Aetheryte Radio.
Aetheryte Radio.
Here we go.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Aetheryte Radio, Gamerscape's Final Fantasy XIV podcast. I'm FutureX. Joining me today. Everybody's here. Everybody's here. Zen's here. She's right there.
Hi.
Aldi
like
knows
Smash
over
Brothers.
here, and then Rook is over here.
Hello.
Everyone is here.
When
We're
are
all
our amiibo
here.
coming out? If this is like Smash, I want my. Where's
I
the
want an amiibo. That'd be
Raffleberg
so
amiibo?
There's this person on
Yeah.
Etsy who does little chibi Final Fantasy XIV figurines.
I have
Have you seen them? They're
Oh my
so
gosh,
good.
yes, they're so good. And I keep thinking, I'm like, one of these years when I've got some extra money, I'm gonna get one, and I'm gonna get like all my friends one for their birthdays.
Mhm.
They're really good. So go to Etsy, type in Chibi Final
Chibi.
Fantasy 14. Wow, my brain just went out the window.
Like it has been a while since we've all been here together on this podcast. We do a podcast about Final Fantasy 14 in case
do.
any of us have forgotten.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the game.
7.
That's the Final Fantasy that we do, not 7.
Yeah, let's not do one about 7. please.
I have
I
some
have to-
thoughts. We will be here a while.
Oh
Yeah.
no. I have to jump in and apologize because I told everybody last week we would be doing our tank roadmap finally. We're not. There was a
No.
live letter.
Oh yeah.
So now I've lied to you twice, guys. Sorry.
Wow. I
Sorry.
thought you were someone I could trust.
Yeah,
Man, what a
No, if
fake
that's the worst
out.
thing I ever lie to you about, you're doing pretty good.
that's pretty good.
I was
think
gonna
it's
say
pretty good.
it could be worse, yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so live letter. We'll get into just like a smidge, like a tiny bit
Thank you.
for our audio listeners.
That's
I'm
how
like
much a smidge
just
is.
like I'm playing like the world's tiniest violin on the stream here. Just a little bit of news. The Dawntrail 7-inch vinyl has been announced. They also released the music video for Dawntrail.
Mhm.
So the EP is going to include Open Sky, the theme from Dawntrail, and Dawntrail. It's 2 separate tracks. One of them is the one from the trailer. The other one is the music from the trailer, but without that little bit from Amanda. 'Cause It's just the primals for the other one. It comes
Gotcha.
with a code to download the MP3s. And you can buy it via the Square Enix store for $24.99 if you're crazy. Or you can buy it currently for $16.31 at CD Japan.
With better shipping.
With better
Also,
shipping.
this has a release date of June 4th, according to CD Japan, whereas Square Enix's site just says June.
June 4th is my birthday.
Well, there
Well,
you
it
go.
looks like they put it out just for you. Look at that.
Thanks, Square Enix. Appreciate you.
June 4th is also the launch for Destiny's next expansion, I think.
Oh,
4th? The 8th. One
well,
of those.
you've got like
It's
2
divisible
weeks
by
until-
4. It's one of those.
until you have to play
There's
14
so much.
after that.
There's so much happening in the next couple
Yeah.
months. It's ridiculous. I went from like, oh, it's gonna be a nice quiet summer to like, I have 1,000 things to do.
Mhm.
So that is the vinyl. Online store, they added the Crystarium Prodigy's attire. Didn't he get this in Yulmore?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Just-
Oh,
it's
interesting.
true.
You're right, I guess. I guess technically. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is weird that.
Yeah, don't buy
I
this.
guess-
This is
Maybe
just
they-
recolored gear that's already in the game. It's $12 for
Well, they
this.
couldn't call him Yulmore Prodigy attire
Right?
because he didn't get to go in there until we got there, I guess.
oh,
They could have called it
They didn't-
Dulia Chai's gift to Alphina with the clothing.
Sure.
Clothing.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't want him to be tied with Yulmore because of its past, you know?
Maybe. Yeah.
Mm.
You're
They
right.
ate,
Yulmore
they
Prodigy,
ate Sin Eaters. Yeah.
Yeah, you feed people
Something we don't
meal
really
and
wanna
it's
talk
just
about.
Not okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Yeah, this is a weird one. You literally this gear set is in game, fam.
Yeah.
So like you can just get it in game. I think there's maybe a slight difference with dyeable, and I
You
believe
can't
the
dye the
actual
one
like
in game, I think. is
Yeah,
the
and I
one.
think, like,
or you can't dye
these-
this one.
it's like they're like yeah. Like there's some different dye channels or something. But
Mm.
also I think that it is job locked in game. I think
Scouting.
it's like a specific scouting.
Yeah.
So, like, if you do really want it and you want to be able to wear it on a character, because I believe the one from the store is not locked to job as most of the cosmetic sets
Yeah.
are, like, that's maybe the only real reason to do it. Otherwise, I would just say just get the actual items in game for free and just wear them on a scouting class or something.
Yeah. 'Tis a bit silly.
It's very similar to the ECL one they put out, where it's like, this is all in game. Why did you give us this? Just because you can't wear it if you want to wear it on, I don't know, a Sage.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
Play a Sage.
It's 2024 and we're still
Why
worried
would you
about job silhouettes. All right.
I know.
Uh-huh.
I just wish. I mean, 14's not the only game that does this. Like, there are lots of games that do just have, like, WoW still does. Guild Wars 2 still has technically, like, gear set differentiations of different weights of gear. Like, so it's not as though MMOs have completely done away with this, but I would like to think we're moving towards a future in which players want the most amount of customization possible on their characters and really would like to be able to at least cosmetically apply any gear sets.
I could have an entire party full of like kappas, pigs, elephants, frogs. Like, at what point do you just not even? I don't know. It's weird. They need to just get rid of it. It's silly. All right, live letter. We're just gonna go ahead and jump right in. I was very surprised with this live letter. Typically, right, the whole idea is like, all right, we're getting back to the summer expansion schedule with Dawntrail. I'm like, cool. So we'll have, obviously there's no E3 this year, so they kind of went a little bigger at PAX East, which is, that's fine, right? They got the E3 budget went to Boston instead of LA. And then we'll get Media Tour. We'll have the embargo with that, and then with that will be the benchmark and all the job PLL, and right.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
That's what we thought. We were wrong. Benchmark is going to be out this weekend. Oh, okay. We got the Benchmark trailer last night at the beginning of the PLL. They're going to do the job PLL is, I believe, May 16th. And the media tour starts like the 15th. So
I popped the
everything's out of order.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff coming up. A lot of events that will be running as well. But we'll get into that here in a tiny bit. So aside from the benchmark, well, actually, hold on. We copy pasted some of this stuff weird in the outline. Hold on. We were going to talk about the benchmark. Where was the benchmark stuff?
Oh, it's at the bottom.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Scrolling.
I mean,
like, I knew I saw it. Where did you go? So obviously with the benchmark, they're going to have new job abilities, new animations and stuff. They're not going to be like, hey, here's this thing. Here's what it's called. Here's the cooldown. Here's the potency. It's just like, look at this flashy animation that's taxing your GPU so we can give you a number. But for those with a keen eye.
Hi, I'm a keen eye.
We can see things. Yes, that's Alphino's new. If Alphino. Gosh, dang.
It's been a while since that happened. Yeah.
No, I did not go through this.
Look, you're a Crystarian prodigy.
Speed. Yeah, I'm Crystarian prodigy.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah, I was
You
thinking
are.
Keen Eye. He's one of the Vath in
yeah, it's not one eye. It's
Keen
Eye.
Yeah, Keen Eye.
Oh my god.
All right, Charles. What did we see? What do we got here?
Okay, so there's a lot of random nonsense in here. So I'm not going to go in super order. I'm going to give everybody the timestamp. So if you want to, whenever you're watching this, you can bring up the benchmark because it's on YouTube. They posted it. And you can find these timestamps. I kind of went in job order because I was trying to whip together everything I thought and everything the community thought. So it's kind of a mix. So first and foremost, let's go through tanks. So 229, if you're a Paladin fan, get to 229 in the video. There's some sort of AoE, like it looks like Requiescat, I think, where you like your sword gets struck by lightning and then you bring it down, but it looks like an AoE. I don't know. Paladin fans, please discuss. I mean, that's cool. That's another AoE. Like, it's hard to really put together, like, oh, well, how's it going to play from any of this? Like, honestly, this is all shiny, as Fusion said. It's just shiny stuff.
We push
right?
button, ability happens. That's how it'll play into things. That's as far as we could glean from the benchmark.
Yeah. But Paladin has a shout out. Warriors near the end, 453. So I was talking to, I can't remember who it was. I think it was our friend Monty about this because it looks like at 453 in the video, if you're a warrior, it looks like Vengeance, right? It looks like the animation of Vengeance, but there's like extra shields around you. And I mean, it's editing most likely, but Wooklamat or jumps in front of the main character who's doing a limit break 3. We'll talk about that. And she seems to absorb one hit. It might be editing, but like the shield appears and disappears when she gets hit by this thing. I don't know. Who the heck knows? Maybe it's a nice little counter.
It's
Maybe
ninja
it's a
tanking
vengeance
from
upgrade.
11.
Yeah, it could be that she had like a Bunshin, you know. I have no idea. It looks cool.
It's like a physical Blackest Night. Instead of you putting the shield on somebody, you are the shield on somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
It's cool. I would love if it procced counter. You know what I mean? Like, that's what warriors are about, right? That'd be really cool. And that's what vengeance is about. So one big hit counter would be cool. But that's 453. Dark Knight is right before that at 434. I don't know. It's a GCD, you can tell. And just for people who want to develop a keener eye, if you're watching a video of an ability and you see a yellow flash before they do that, that is a GCD. All GCDs flash that way before you do it. So the Dark Knight flashes yellow, and it does looks like a 2-hit attack that I don't believe that they have already. I'm not a Dark Knight player, so I'm not entirely sure. You can see that they do their 1-2-3 combo before that if you really go slow from when it's zooming into them to focus on them for this. I don't know if it's a 4 in your 1-2-3. I don't know if it's a new 3-hit combo because it continues after that. But it's cool looking. I don't know. Gunbreaker, now this one...
But it's cool looking.
Yeah, but it's cool looking. Gunbreaker at 2 minutes. We're hopping around, but I just wanted to talk tanks first. Just to give you something since we're not talking tanks this week.
I'm sorry.
She said we would. It's her fault. Anyway. Gunbreaker does Faded Circle at 2 minutes in. And then it looks like whatever this is a continuation for Faded Circle, which is cool. Keep putting more continuations on stuff. They kind of stab into the ground and it explodes like they shot into the ground. Really cool. It looks like it fires off right after Faded Circle. It looks like it is not a GCD. So it's probably an OGCD continuation. Probably.
I just love that like every Gunbreaker, like every update's like, so what are we going to give Gunbreaker? Continuation.
Yep.
10 more abilities for continuation.
Oops, all continuation.
Keep going. Oops, all continuation.
So White Mage, and Rook, you can definitely help me with this one. It's at 434. We have a doc and there's a timestamp. Is that like Medica 2 looking? It looked like Medica 2 to me, but better.
Let me go ahead and
definitely take a look at
right now. Let's get our eyes on this so that we can see. I mean, Medica 2 but better does sound great.
Yeah, so this is
it
at
looks
434.
Like Medica 2 but better with a few extra flower petals. It's
right.
I'm wondering if maybe they're giving us instead of the attack blood lily, like a heal blood lily.
Yeah, it could. The flower petals definitely could indicate something like it being tied to the lily system. It could also be that they just decided that they wanted to lean into that aspect of the aesthetic, since folks have kind of been like, I miss when White Mage was a little bit more druidic. So maybe they were like, well, if we're doing light, we can also do like flowers. So we'll put something like that on. It does seem to be some kind of heal. It
has
like.
that heal effect at the end, right?
Yeah, it's kind of got like the little sparkle tinkle.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of, hold on. As I watch it, I would assume it is a heal, because after it goes off, you see your allies get like a burst of kind of like around them. But it could be, it could be something like a buff. The sound effect has a bit of a...
It's definitely got the healing tinkle.
It has the
at the
healing
very end.
tinkle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be giving like a regen. Maybe that might be the buff that you're seeing. I don't know.
Interesting. Hopefully it's not just straight up another AoE heal, because White Mage does have plenty of those, but...
I think a lot of these too could be just, trait upgrades, right? Instead of adding all new abilities and stuff. Like, maybe at 83, White Mage gets a trait called Medica 2, but better, and it upgrades Medica 2.
3?
It's true. Maybe.
They might skip again.
That seems awfully
Suddenly
straightforward.
You have Medica 4?
Yeah,
it should be Medica Ga. Medica.
Medica.
This one's not quite not quite as exciting as like seeing the Lily Bell appear or wings
Right.
appearing on your back. But of course, we'll actually get more of the job trailers and other
Yeah.
stuff too. So there might be other things we just haven't seen yet,
Yeah,
right?
these are
But,
the scraps, everybody. It's just we got nothing else, so
We're working with what we
yeah.
got.
Yeah. So next is Scholar at 436. That looks like an AoE chain stratagem to me. Like really, really does. I only know a little bit about Scholar.
mm.
Hopefully that timestamp is good. Yeah, it looks like chain stratagem, but AoE maybe.
I actually really like the effect on this. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
it's the exact same. Like, I don't know if it's
either.
the same animation as other chain stratagems because I don't play Scholar that much. I'm so sorry, Scholar mains. But I will say that this animation bridges the gap between the kind of like ornate or like whimsical fairy feel and the more kind of strategic,
Mhm.
almost like tech aspect that we've seen with some of the other animations for Scholar. So I kind of hope, like, if they were going to keep that element of Scholar, but then, like, redo some of their animations and things like that, I
Yeah.
kind of hope they lean into what they've got with this because it feels kind of steampunky, but also kind of fantasy. And I
Yeah.
actually, this was one of the abilities that caught my eye from the benchmark,
Mhm.
personally. So,
All the
Yeah,
all the
'cause
scholar
chain-
pets just are little fairies with like top hats and goggles now, just going full steampunk.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
cute.
because chain stratagem, like little console windows pop up around you, and then you have a targeting reticle on the enemy. And this looks like multiple targeting reticles or some sort of gear. Like
Mm.
it looks like you're debuffing in some way. I'm guessing. But yeah, some sort of maybe AoE chain stratagem or other debuff. It definitely goes on to the enemy. So I don't know. Next is Astrologian. So it goes back to the very beginning. So this is 238 in the video. If you go there, I don't know. I mean, Astrologian is shiny. It leaves an effect that doesn't look like a heal, though. Maybe it is a heal, but there's like these starbursts around you instead of the white mage looking heal.
Mm.
So to describe it for audio listeners, you hold your astrolabe. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Am
Yeah,
I crazy?
That's right.
Nailed
You
it.
got it. You
Well,
got it.
This
You
is how much
got
I know
it.
about astrology. Anyway, you hold it aloft. It has this cool starburst planetarium looking thing effect, and then everyone in your party gets a little ring with the kind of center spoke of that effect on them. I can't tell what it does. What do you think, healer
Makes
people?
you feel like a planetarium.
Yeah.
Mm.
It reminds
Yeah.
me of the one buff they have where you can just hit the button and everybody gets a buff.
Sure, yeah,
I forget what
Yeah,
it's called.
maybe.
I mean, Balance has a sun
Yeah,
on it,
you're right.
right?
Yeah.
So I would assume this has to be some kind of buff. A big thing here too, though, is that Astrologian has that big rework coming.
Yes.
So this could very well be some part of that rework. It could be, and honestly,
Yeah.
I would kind of hope that if we don't know what they're doing, right? We have no idea. But
No idea.
if they're keeping that idea of having to like hoard seals and then
Hmm.
popping that at the end, part of me kind of hopes that it actually leads to some kind of party-wide buff now, because it always felt kind of weird as like a support healer to
Mhm.
like spend all this time trying to build up the seals and then it's kind of like a negligible thing that you put on yourself. I mean, like, it's
Yeah.
not terrible. It does give you stuff, so it's not like,
Yeah.
but it just kind of felt sort of like they didn't commit fully to like
Sure.
having some big thing based around that.
So-
So I kind of feel like it's got to be some kind of buff.
Yeah. Are you thinking like
Divination.
an
Divination was the
AoE?
thing I was thinking of.
Yeah,
Mm,
AoE divination or Astrodyne. Astrodyne is the one that you were speaking of, like the one that gives
Yeah,
you
with the
the
cards.
personal
Mm.
buff.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's hard to tell. It is pretty.
It's really
Yeah, it's
pretty.
very pretty.
It's
I
it's
really
very
like
pretty.
it. Mhm.
So speaking of pretty, Sage. Sage is at 2 minutes and 3 seconds.
Hey, you like lasers?
Yeah, you like lasers?
Love lasers.
You get to
love,
draw.
Love me a good laser.
Yeah, you get to draw a spiral with your lasers going straight down, and then it bursts into an AoE, kind of like
It's a
Toxicon.
cool ground pattern.
Yeah, it's a very cool ground pattern. Looks like some sort of targeted AoE on one thing, and it hits everybody else, and maybe Toxicon.
Yeah.
As it starts, there isn't really any OGCD or GCD flash, it's hard to tell because it zooms in so far from halfway across. Like, all it shows is that the new lists go up and zap. I don't know. Some of these are very hard to figure out.
Yeah.
So we're getting into Melee. So first one there is Monk at 209.
You're the
209.
only one who's ever put Monk first as DPS.
I kind of no, Dragoon was first in here. I don't know why I picked Monk. I just did. But
I'm sorry. The monk one is just, I literally had to rewatch the clip like 3 times
Yeah.
to be like, where was it?
It's so fast. It looks like kind of one of those like Mountain Buster, you're punching
Blur.
with both hands. Yeah, it's a big blur. I had to go at like 0.1 speed.
Ooh, good point. You can slow it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to
0.1
imagine
speed.
you
Mhm.
punch. It's like a kind of like an uppercut, and a cat's hand comes out of the ground, like a coral's hand comes out of the ground, because it kind of does like a backslash thing. It's probably not what
Yeah.
it is,
Yeah.
but like
There's a tiger head in it. There is
Oh.
a frame of a tiger's head. Like, if you really slow
You
it down,
are right. You know,
Yeah.
I missed it the first time,
it's
but
hard.
there does appear to be some kind of like big. It looks like a big cat's head. I
Yeah.
thought at first
Yeah.
that it might just be like an earth explosion, but I mean
Mhm.
it could be coral because coral is one of the
Yeah.
forms, right?
And it's
Well,
got
it
that
sounds
color to it too,
terrible.
so it might
It
be.
does sound terrible.
would you slow it down that far? It sounds awful.
Yeah, I had to do this at no volume. But it ends like when the cat head goes away. There's like ink brush strokes, which I thought was very cool.
You're right. There
I'm
is.
gonna say the
almost
Byakuo,
Byakuo.
maybe.
Yeah, right. So it's
Oh my gosh, how cool
It's so
would
quick.
it be if Monk got something that was like an iteration off of forms for the Four Lords?
That would
mhm,
be really cool.
it'd
That would be
very
so
awesome.
Yes, all of
It's
that stuff
not-
that you're doing right there, that's how I'm feeling.
I-
The
I don't
ultimate
know.
form for Monk is you just look like Yoshida in the kimono.
Yes.
I
You
don't know
you start
if that's what
belting
it
out
is.
the Byakuo theme.
Yeah.
Like the color of the effect does not match Byakuo's
No.
colors, but oh, that'd be real cool. Please and thank you, Square Enix. I would love
We
that.
know though, like from time immemorial, Monk has had they're the coral fist.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I
it
mean
could be
that's
something
Yeah.
less cool like a coral, but you know it could be.
Yeah.
for-
It also looks like a GCD, so
Mm.
like really wild speculation to me. I don't know that they would add another GCD, but what they could do is what Dragoon does, in that if you go through your rotation correctly, when you come back around to something, it's a different spell or an attack.
Mhm.
And this could be like Snap Punch upgraded with a
Two.
trait. I don't
Mm.
know.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll just
I don't
upgrade
know.
all of the punches so that they have a different animation
Yeah.
and do the same thing but better and look cooler.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I would be so into that. And I would be into that for a lot of the classes, like the older
Mhm.
classes in particular in the game. If they ever just like literally wanted to do a graphic redesign of them, like they don't even have
Go
to
for it.
overhaul the class. I would love to see them just kind of like polish up even some of the visuals on certain classes. It'd be
'Cause
really
we-
nice.
We
Yeah.
get that on other classes. Like the one that comes to mind, for example, because I'm weird, I guess, is the AoE, the like basic AoE you get for Bard. I forget what the old one
Oh,
was
sure.
called,
Yeah.
but it was replaced entirely by a new AoE, brand new animation, does the same thing, just kind of looks different. I don't think Monk's ever had something like that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So it would be a good time because people who are afraid of the Dragoon rework, which is most Dragoons, let's be honest, just because it's a little scary, they really do enjoy that infinite combo, or at least the feel of it. It's just really a bunch of other stuff that's kind of in the way, or they would like to be better. So,
Yeah.
like, giving Monk the ability that second loop things change or something like that, I think it'd be great. I'm not a Monk player, though.
Monk
Next-
has definitely always been sort of about
Mhm.
like you start slow and you build up, and they took
Yeah.
away the whole grease lightning building thing. So like building into different punches could be a cool
Yeah.
thematic way to
Mm.
replace
It could be related to the naughty. I'm not entirely sure. There's so
Ooh.
much possibility
You
there.
definitely have to change up your attack as you're going, or people are going to figure out what you're doing. You need new punches.
Yeah,
Yeah, you do need new punches. Speaking of new, well, not punches, but there's a dragon in here. So Dragoon's at 202. 202 in the
This
video.
looks cool.
It looks very cool.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely need to slow this one down. That looks like Nidhogg's head.
It's like
what's the shoot? I'm
Is it his
blanking on the
head or a
name.
wing?
It's
his
weird,
head.
right? It looks
I
like a
think it's coming
tentacle.
out, but it also looks like it has like a bunch of eyeballs on it. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Hold
Like
on, let me
it's
hold
like
on.
if Nidhogg
If you
had
slow
a
it way
had a
down.
baby with the creature
Terminus
from
beast.
the Terminus Beast. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like the one from the Endwalker
Ew.
trailer that wasn't actually on the moon.
Yeah.
Nobody liked that.
No. It has
No,
the.
but if you slow it way down, he
Yeah.
has the 4 like forward-pointing horns, like
Yeah.
Nidhogg does. In the middle of that, he doesn't really have a face though. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird.
He like twists as he comes up. I don't know.
Yeah, that does look like Nidhogg. At first, I thought it was just like a wing unfurling.
Yeah.
But you're right. It definitely. I mean, Nidhogg has those. He has those swirls on him. They're
Yeah.
like a visual touch that some of the dragons do. The
When he's in
First
rage
year,
mode,
there we go.
especially.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So it
no,
looks
that's
like-
him.
Yeah, it looks like
it's
Rage Mode
either
Nidhogg.
probably an update to Stardiver,
Mhm.
or like maybe like a continuation or like a second iteration
No.
of Stardiver that you get.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
that
and that makes
ring
sense,
around the
too.
bottom is that same
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of effect.
Mhm.
Oh, you know, we were talking about this last night. It'd be cool if it was in sort of like a combination with Stardiver. So like
Yeah.
you called it when you went to do Stardiver, and then you just meet in the middle. Just
Oh, it'd be really cool. It is an OGCD. So to train your keen eye, the Dragoon glows blue right before, and it goes off. Usually blue is the color of an OGCD. The yellow is the color of a GCD. It's super quick, right? Of course, you probably don't notice it, but this Dragoon turns blue, it comes out, and it's very quick. It's almost like, I don't know how you would weave that in, because it's got a big animation. But, we animation clip all the time in this game when you're mashing your buttons. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool. Some Nidhogg stuff. Doesn't look like they have the Life of the Dragon effect on
It
currently, though,
it
either.
looks like I'm seeing
it does? Okay.
some wrap on them. It looked like
Okay.
Yeah. If you
Oh,
slow
yeah, I
it down,
see it
there's the
there.
reds. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's
So
a-
it's probably through Life of the Dragon. It's Gear Skogel, but up.
Yeah. If you
That's the name of the trait for the Stardiver upgrade. Here's Google it up.
Skogel, but up.
Yeah. It would be really cool if like they've been doing more role quests, but it'd be really cool if maybe they part from that a little. Like if we're just
Yes.
getting one ability, one quest, it would be really cool
Please.
to have this be an Estinian based quest where he teaches
Yes.
you
That
what
could
he's
be
learned about
interesting. I mean,
Nidhogg.
we had that
Yes.
with Shadowbringers though, because they did the role quest,
Yeah.
but then they gave us one job quest.
One
Yeah.
capstone, yeah.
They were awful. They were
Yeah, I would
all
look
very
for it to be
copy
better.
paste. The
Very
Dragoon
pretty.
one especially was like, yeah, we're gonna like go lay some flowers down. Like Nidhogg wasn't really that much of a bad guy, and it was just like the images like scrolling across the screen like a puppet show. It was like incredibly low budget. I'm like, why did you even bother? So
It's so interesting to me because for a long time they tried to make the like role quests and things, and some of them were really good and some of them less so, but
Mhm.
like they tried to make them something that was almost like a different, I don't know, NPC side quest that you were kind of witnessing, as opposed to it just being something that is like a very intrinsic thing specific to your character about learning some new skill, right? And
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like if they shifted more to that, where you have like that one
Capstone.
capstone,
Yeah.
right? Where like as a dragoon or something, you commune with Nidhogg, and Nidhogg, like is an echo through Estinian or something, like tells you that he's seen what you've done with the first brood and all this other stuff, and that peace might be possible, and his wrath has subsided, and that he wants to lend his strength to you, or something. Like you don't have to make
Yeah.
a whole quest about like some people who do a thing. It can
Yeah.
literally just be about you as a white mage. You could, I don't know, you could go to nature and commune, and it reveals some
taint.
new thing to you. Yeah, you go cleanse like an area and you learn something. Like
yeah.
it literally doesn't have to be a whole thing. It could be like a
Right.
single cutscene. You go to a single place and you just take something away from it. And I think that would be really engaging for players because they get to
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
they themselves did something that reflected their
But
class.
you also
you
have
know?
to remember why they strayed away from that, right? And did the role quest. One was because obviously as they add more jobs, that's a lot more quests that they have to make, you know, new characters, story, all that stuff, right? Just with like 2 new jobs in expansion. Then they have to also backtrack and do all the other jobs that have come before it. But then also, like, how many times, you know, like during like Stormblood, did you go into a dungeon? Someone's like, "Oh, I forgot to do my quest. I don't actually have my level 80 ability." You know what I mean? Like, so they're like, "All right, well, we'll get rid of that."
I think they could find a really good happy medium between the two because the role quests were a good solution to make you not have to stop your progression through MSQ when you're first starting up. But I think just hopping to the end, maybe 2 levels before you finish the job off, they're like, by the way, there's a quest over here. You might want to go do it. That way you stop one time,
Yeah.
you do a quest that's actually interesting, worthwhile, teaches you something about this job that theoretically you have a fair attachment to, and then you move on.
I
Yeah.
would
Just
actually argue
one quest
away from
one
the
quest
role
16
quest just
times.
because of what they've done with
Yeah.
them. Like, they're amazing stories, but because of Shadowbringers, they completely missed the landing for 6.1 with the Void Quest stuff because all that stuff started in the Void Quest, right? So you have this amazing story you want to tell, but it's super gate kept. And then in Endwalker, we had that really cool story with all the nightmares that led up to, you know, some of the stuff in Garlemald. That should have been MSQ. That shouldn't be buried like that behind role quests. I don't think.
I think that if they did it that way, the amount of work that they had to put into it, like on the dev side of things, would even out too. Like if you're not doing role quests, but you're doing, what is it, like 18 different jobs, 1 or 2 solid quests for each of those is the same amount of work as like 4 or 5
Yeah.
separate
Take the
little
role quest, turn
that
it
don't
into
mean
like
anything.
10
Right.
quests and put them like right in the MSQ somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I think one of the biggest problems for me with the role quest about like when you would miss abilities or people wouldn't have them, right? Is that a lot of times I would just forget that I hadn't done them. Like, you know what I mean? Versus if it was something where like you hit level whatever, I don't know, level 83 and you get some new thing that's unlocked. If something popped up on my screen and was like, you have unlocked a new ability, here is this quest, like go do this one quest, it's short, like to master this new thing, and then that quest just stayed next to
Throw it
my
in the
main
tracker.
story thing, or like
Well, that's how
or like
they-
maybe you couldn't queue until it was like, you know, like for certain levels of content you couldn't queue unless you had like gone and done that. And even if they just wanted to be like, you've unlocked a new ability, and like assuming you got out of a piece of content or something, it was like, do you want to watch the cutscene? Like, and you just could click yes or no, and you could just see the thing, and then like if you hit no, it would like go in your in room and you could watch it later or something, so you didn't even have to like spend the time to go somewhere, do something, you know, like you could just have it. Like, I think there's a lot of ways that they could make it so it wasn't so much of just like a thing you had to kind of remember or go out of your way to do, you know?
Right.
Well, they did in Shadowbringers, when you hit the point in the MSQ, I think when you can start talking to not AF weapon guy. What is his name?
Yeah. Geralt. Not Geralt.
Not Geralt. Yeah, he's under the
Yeah.
water. That guy. They
Yeah, I
straight
forget
up
his name.
there's like a prompt that comes up like, hey, you can't go any farther in the MSQ until you do this role quest.
Yeah.
So they could do it like just like that, but not make it a whole like 5-6 part role
Yeah.
quest. Make it maybe like a 1-2 part job quest. And I think
Yeah.
that would be very reasonable and the same amount of work and much more interesting.
Yeah.
Or just make the role quests, tie them to one scion maybe. So like
Sure.
Estinian's quest is for all the melee DPS, for example, something like that.
Yeah. But also don't make it weird side gatekept stuff that can have a literally
Yes,
big
please.
impact on how you dictate story in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Simplified
I mean,
job quests, I think, is the way to go.
I think so too.
Yeah.
The next thing that I have here is Ninja, and it's very easy. You don't even have to slow it down. It's
Yeah.
at 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It's just Hellfrog medium, but different. It's wearing armor. It has a blue flame. It looks like it's
Grenelle.
It definitely looks
Thanks,
like a it definitely looks like an AoE, and it has these like rune effects, like the what surrounds you when you're doing your limit break when you hit the thing. It's
Yeah.
Hellfrog but bigger, Hellfrog but better. Gamabunta from Naruto. Yes, I'm always going to go Naruto here. You're just summoning frogs, just like Naruto. I don't know.
It's frog barding.
I slowed it down. I managed to get like a perfect freeze frame. The armor, it's an Oni mask.
Yeah, on its butt, right?
Yeah, the one on its butt is like it's a
Yes,
big
the
green
mythical
Oni mask
frog
on
ass
it.
Oni.
Yeah, so yeah, it must be like a bigger, stronger demon frog, right? Or like imbued with that. And I do actually really like the effect with the like flames and the kind of like script, the writing. It's really cool looking, honestly.
Yeah, it's cool. What it does, hell frog, probably. I guess it's a bigger one. I guess it's a better one. Maybe it's a
Oni
trait.
frog, hell frog,
Yeah, you got
Oni
a frog. Yeah.
Demon frog,
Yeah.
devil frog.
So that's at 240 in the video. It's very easy. Next is Samurai, and I don't play Samurai a whole lot, but
I have dabbled in
it's like-
Samurai, but I don't remember enough to. It's just it's the
It's
names, and it's just, it goes whoosh and down, and it's a sword attack with effects.
Sure.
Yeah.
is.
A blue aura happens before they do this. They jump into the air and do like 2 big slashes, and they land in that AoE ability that they have, their AoE cone. Like an AoE cone looks to go off when they land.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Best I can guess, it's like I think it's called Tenka Gyoten or something like that, or maybe an upgrade to the like single target Gurren, I think is what it's called. That line thing that they have. Not single target. The line thing that they have. It's Gurren something.
So there's two AoEs. They have one's a
Okay.
cone, one's a
235.
cone, and one's
Gurren
like
Lagann.
a circle.
And
So
Gurren
it might just
Lagann,
be
yeah.
it might just be an upgrade to the cone.
Yeah, it could be an upgrade to the cone. It is an OG CD. It does glow blue first. So it seems like something you would weave into your AoE combo. And yes, they're just doing AoEs on single target things. They're just showing things. It's fine. It's fine. But hey, it does something. Samurai mains you can discuss. Reaper is next. So this one's almost at
Fuga was the
very
one I was thinking of.
okay.
For whatever that's worth.
Yeah. Reaper's almost at the very end. It's 438 into the video. So 438. It's got a lot of crystal. There's a whole lot of those crystal things that come out. They are in Enshroud when they do it, first and foremost. They are out of Enshroud when they finish. It's hard to tell unless you really slow it down because their hood changes back to the normal one.
Oh yeah, he's got like a claw.
Yeah. So I think it's those. When you're in Enshroud, there's these. You basically do one attack that spends 2, and then another one that spends 1. The claw attacks, the Lemure attack. So it looks like maybe an upgrade of the AoE one.
Yeah.
A new finisher.
It's so hard to tell that they come out of Enshroud because their AF looks really similar to the.
Really close.
Yeah.
I had to zoom in so close.
Yeah, you're like, it comes out of Enshroud. I'm like, does it though?
Yeah. Because like the red goes away and then it's back to normal.
Slightly less
so
tattered
hard.
robe. The robe fixes itself at the end. This is actually
I
how
feel-
Reapers sew.
I feel like looking at all this, I'm just staring at it. Like, did the pixels change? I think that changed. I don't have to do this. We're about to get this video. I don't know. I just wanted to. Anyway.
I'm curious.
Yeah. So Reapers, a new action in Enshroud. I don't know.
Yeah, it might just
Bard,
be an upgrade
okay.
to their last ability.
Yeah, it could be.
It looks cool.
Bard
it
has a
does
whole
look
ass
cool.
guitar on their bow.
Yes. So Bard is looking really cool. I don't know what that is. I have
It
no idea.
reminds me hardcore of the mechanics in the Ocean fight.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, it looks very much like Ocean. It's interesting because there is no glow before it. Not a yellow, not a blue. They just do a backflip and shoot. Is it a backflip? No. Yeah, it is a backflip. But they do a backflip and there's like the kind of multi-arrow looking thing. And then it explodes to more arrows coming downward. So it looks like it's an AoE. Don't know what. It's looking cool. So that is at 440. If you want to follow along. So 440 almost directly at the end.
I'm trying to tell what the sigil looks like.
I'm getting
Yeah,
so
right?
thrown off by that weapon because it's just like a guitar going across the
Yeah.
middle of the bow. So every time I see it,
Yeah.
I'm just like, Bard, that's not how you hold a guitar. What are you doing?
But
Yeah,
the
it's-
green really gives me the Oshan vibes.
Yeah, and it would be great if they start throwing some of that stuff in.
Actually,
Now that we've met the 12, like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be so cool.
it looks a little bit like the symbols you get on the side every time you finish a song cast.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
So
Just like
build
one
up
of the
a meter
sides
for
is
it or
a
something.
little bit long, like has a bit. It's heavier on like the fancy curlies, like the little symbols have.
Yeah. I'd have to look at Pitch Perfect, but I bet Pitch Perfect doesn't have a very big glow either because you're supposed to spam it in response. So maybe this is a Pitch Perfect like, but AoE. I don't know. I don't know Bard enough. I have no idea.
I haven't played Bard since like Heaven's Word.
It
Right.
definitely seems like it would be some kind of AoE because the
Yeah.
actual attack.
There's way too
has
many
that,
arrows
like-
raining down from the sky for that to be
Well,
a single target.
There's a bunch of arrows and there's this like curling script orb
On the ground, yeah.
that's like on the target and then what looks to be tendrils of wind. Yeah, I could see this being related to Oshan, which would be
Yeah.
really cool considering that he is like the Wanderer, the
Yup.
Bard equivalent.
Job
Yeah,
quest with
please.
Oshan.
Please.
I would love them to do something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that does kind of look like that.
Yeah. So
Actually,
next
you
is,
know
go ahead.
what that looks like.
What's
Eh,
that?
Nah, maybe not. I'm really just seeing what I want to see. I think.
Yeah.
Okay,
fair.
okay.
Well, that's fine. What do you want to see?
Yeah, what do you want to see?
I want to see. Nah, it's the same thing. Keep going.
Okay. Machinist is next. 236. I mean, would you like a chainsaw to launch at people? I guess.
We
Like,
we have a saw blade.
yeah, you do, and but
This
I
was
think it's horizontal.
launchy.
This looks to me like drill almost, right? Because it's
Mhm.
like a big wind up, it hits, and if you're going very slow, you'll see the chainsaw hit and start shrinking, but keep doing like multiple animations until it blows up.
It grinds down.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Is that a drill upgrade with a trait? Maybe instead of a drill, you turn it into a saw. Is that a
Yeah, I
new
mean,
saw?
that could be. We already our at level 90 we got chainsaw, so it feels
Yeah.
weird that they would give us another saw.
Yeah,
Maybe it's an
I don't
upgrade of
know.
chainsaw.
could
A
be.
true mechanic. You're getting a bunch of tools rather
Yeah.
than like use them. To fix
Yeah, because it
things.
would be
You throw
really
them at
weird
bad guys.
after going through all the trouble of introducing like this giant multi-tool to be like, all right, but now we're not gonna have drill anymore, and we have two chainsaws.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't
but-
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's a like every once in a while, or if you hit the auto crit, it changes to this. I don't know,
That
it
could
could be
be.
anything. So Dancer is super weird. I don't
The most
know.
boring,
It is just I don't
except
know
for
what
maybe
this is.
Samurai.
Yeah. So it's at 2 minutes and 10 seconds in. I don't know what this is. It could be Blood Shower, it could be Saber Dance. I don't play it enough. It's super quick and they go right by it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like
Yeah.
every other ability where there's just a bunch of shit flying around because you threw some chakrams.
Yeah.
It's like cutty, cutty, cut, cut. It's pink, and then you move on, and it's not impressive. So I hope that it's just like a regular ass ability upgrade.
Yeah. Like the chop or the slice effect is bigger than normal. I think that's the only difference that I can see.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It does
that's
just look
it.
like a general. It looks like
Yep.
just any of their abilities. Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, dancers. I
Sorry.
don't know.
It's fine.
Yeah, I
We're
don't
good with
know.
what we got. We have
I've voiced
half
my
a second of
displeasure, and I'm done.
animation.
Okay. So we get into the casters with Black Mage at 205. This one's very easy. Yeah, that's just a lightning. That's just a new lightning. I don't know exactly how. Maybe a high lightning. Maybe
At level 84, they
What do
get
we
the
not-
trait Better Lightning.
yeah, better lightning. It
Thunderbolt's
looks
hand.
like it looks like burst though from PvP to me a little bit,
Ooh,
Could be.
which would be very cool.
it is extreme. We don't
Yeah,
have
it's
burst yet,
very-
do we?
No,
We have
I don't
flare
think so.
and what the frick is the other one?
Freaking the
Oh my
Enochian
God.
one, the one that uses a charge. It's
The ice
called-
one.
Oh, you're talking about that.
Yeah, we have the two like the
freeze.
big traditional. Yeah, I think you're right. Freeze and flare, but we don't have burst yet.
yeah.
Mm.
So
I mean,
it could
it
be
would
a
make s-
non-PvP
It
burst.
would make sense for them to go back to all the stuff they did with PvP and be like, all right, we're going to take that and go ahead and put it over here.
Yeah.
Where's my sniper rifle square?
It looks very lightning-like with a big explosion afterwards. Who knows? But it is cool looking.
Yeah.
All right. Next is Summoner. It's at 207.
All right. How we
And
feeling?
here-
How we feeling?
Okay.
Here is controversy. Because
Oh,
Summoner
geez.
can't have it can't have anything without controversy. So when you look at that, I want you all to look at it. You can
Okay.
slow it down if you want. What does it look like to you?
Well,
Knowing
I
what
read
you know
the
about Summoner.
outline, so
Yeah.
I feel like I'm cheating. But
Sure, maybe.
It looks like he's taken one of those, like, you know, those balls that you'd see at like Spencer's Gifts where you can like touch it and the little electricity kind of
Oh,
zaps.
yeah.
It looks like he's just summoning a big one of those and it
Is
explodes.
that a Vandergraaf
Is it-
something?
Fester.
It looks like what?
Fester. It looks
Like
like
the dude from
ability they
Addams
took
Family?
away.
Like Uncle
Oh.
Fester?
No.
No,
it
wait,
looks like
Fester's the
Cousin
dot they
Fester.
took away, right?
No, Fester
No.
is the explosion from
Yeah,
dots.
it explodes your dots. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
Oh.
But the Fester animation. So when you look at this at first, it's like a big white blob, and then there's lightning. Go ahead.
Didn't Fester have like an extra like runic doodly doodle around it?
Yeah, and that's
Mm.
Fester is all about multiple explosions and like an orb with lightning inside of it. So people are looking at this, and it has no. It's not a spell. It just looks to be instant. But they're seeing lightning, and they're going, "Is that Ramu?"
Yeah, right.
mm,
Are we getting the
don't
other
know.
summons?
To me, that doesn't look like Ramu lightning. It like.
I
It's
have
hard.
to agree with you. The orbs like because there's kind of an after effect where there's like little glowing
Yeah.
purple orbs around it, and those
Yeah.
maybe read the closest as Ramu to me,
Mhm.
but it doesn't. It's more so like you have these kind of purple arcs that are kind of
Yeah.
coming out of it, like slices, as opposed to the crackling lightning effect
Mhm.
that we normally see. So it doesn't read to me as like
Yeah.
a lightning Ramu. I would love it if you were
I would
if
too.
summoners were
The
fine with
orbs
getting the upper
actually are
summon.
what makes me think of Ramu.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Towards the end.
that's the closest that I think, but
I see like one, maybe two frames of what might be a little bit of like white arcing lightning spin out from the middle.
Yeah.
My other thought here is I don't know how much they've changed the summoner storyline. I know they did change it some. At some
Mhm.
point, don't you fight a big nasty purple Ifrit?
Yeah. Belial.
Yeah.
Or Belias, I think.
Belias,
Can't
yeah,
remember.
Yeah.
What if
Yeah,
each
so
of
it
them
was-
get like an extended, weird, almost like corrupted version of what they are now?
Yeah,
And then you
that'd
get
be
that-
cool.
The Belias
that
fight got
Belias or
really
whatever
weird
it
once
is.
they did return to evil. It's like,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did.
but you're all right.
All right, man.
People
Whatever,
are
I
allowed to have
guess.
the same name fusion.
I mean, especially in Final Fantasy as a franchise, it's kind of a given. There's a lot of usages of the same name in a lot of different ways. So
Yeah, it looks to me closer to Fester and Pain Flare than a Lightning would, but I don't know. I hope it's Ramu. I don't think that it is. And it's also very plain on the Summoner. The Summoner is not having any sort of power up or, wings coming out of a book or anything. It looks like an instant that I don't think that I would want that to be Ramu. Because, even, the quickest primal bit is Titan, but that's big. You see it, right?
Mhm.
I don't know. Who knows exactly what that is? I hope it's removed, but I really think it's a Fester Pain Flare upgrade or something.
Yeah.
So that's Summoner.
I don't see any kind of summon at this point, though. Either.
No, right.
No.
So that's
It would
why
be
I
more
also
obvious.
think Fester.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't even see
Yeah.
like Carbuncle.
I really feel like if they
Carbuncle is not
were
there.
no, like I feel like if they were going to do something like reveal a new summon for Summoner, that they would have prominently put it there. I mean, of course, this is still not everything. This is
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
a tiny fraction of a glimpse, but
I don't
Mhm.
know. Like, I almost feel like perhaps they deleted the summon. They just straight up went into the video
Yeah.
and were like, "You're not here because we don't want them to know about
Yeah.
that."
I mean,
They
they
need it
could.
for the media tour nonsense.
I mean,
true.
later on in the benchmark, because I was going frame by frame, they run up to an area that's dark with a bunch of coral looking stuff at what is this, around 409? But then they cut from there and you never see them fight there.
Mm.
It just they walk up to some golem looking things and then they cut immediately and you never see that fight. That's weird to me if it's the benchmark, because I would assume that it would go through it, but who knows? So maybe they are still hiding some stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I feel like the idea of like maybe they just hid Remu. That's like okay,
Yeah,
but honestly, like would they really put in that amount of effort into like?
I
It's just
don't know.
weird that Carbuncle's not
No.
there.
Yeah, Carbuncle is nowhere to be seen.
Maybe
for
maybe
some
it's
reason.
maybe you eat Carbuncle.
Pets are
Yeah,
off.
maybe
They turn,
the
they turn
attack
pets.
you get from
They turn pets
Carbuncle.
off. That's why you also don't see the
Mm.
new wyvern that dragoons get.
Why
Oh,
would they
see,
turn
yeah, there you go.
pets off?
Next and kind of last, and we'll talk about kind of last, is Red Mage at 231. 231 is Red Mage, and hey, rejoice, it's probably not a new ending of the combo. Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. Because, so what happens, like, right before at 231, you see a Red Mage kind of in the background cast Embolden, which is the self and party buff. So Embolden goes off, and then you get a blue flash, so it's an OGCD, and they jump into the air, and they, like, whip some, like, rose vines around from, like, in the air. It looks maybe AoE.
It's kind of hard to tell like if or what
Mhm.
the effect is from this because the thing they're fighting has such a gigantic butt
Yeah.
that it kind of is just like in the middle of this like snake's ass,
Yeah.
and you can't really see. He's like kind of maybe
Yeah.
some flower petals.
Yeah, like,
I-
later on... Go ahead.
It was just a dumb thing. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's fine. Like, if you're going super slow, there's some vines that come out of it with a bunch of rose or red petals, and then you land, and there's the kind of screen shake. OGCD, AoE, maybe an update to Flesh or Contra Seeks. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's the end of the combo, because it doesn't look like it's a spell. It doesn't look like it's a melee attack. Maybe it's an upgrade for what is the one that nobody uses? I can't remember the name of it. There's an AoE one that you can spam, but it's kind of garbage.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be that, but it is an OGCD, so maybe it's just to add on. Hard to tell, but I don't think it's another finisher, Red Mages. I don't think you just get another finisher, so that's good at least.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a rose whip or something. Yeah.
Which is cool.
Which is super cool.
Yeah, I really like the effect, and once we figure out what it do, I mean, I'm sure it's
Because
just...
it's similar to
Uh-huh.
the AoE blade attack Alize has when you play her in an instance.
Yes, that's right.
Oh.
So maybe we're getting a little bit of Alice there,
Yeah.
which is cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, so it looks cool. Have no idea what it is. It's probably AoE. But the reason why it's kind of last is we do have Picto and Viper. But Viper is so heavily edited that I don't know. Like, there's just sword slashes and some are OGCDs and GCDs. It's very hard to tell. But at the very end, Viper
Yep.
definitely does their Limit Break 3.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's Limit Break 3, no problem. I mean, that's easily Limit Break 3. I didn't put a timestamp in there, but I'll find it for everybody. It looks like
448.
what is this? Yeah, 448.
Yeah.
Yeah, 448. You see them charging up with some snake effects, like snake skin around you. I think this is where Wuklamot jumps in the way.
Yep.
Right after. And then it
His
goes off.
shield thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the Viper goes up close, does some big zigzagging slashes, and then drops with both swords in kind of what looks like a Viper bite. The two.
Snake bite.
Yeah, exactly. And then it blows up.
Yep.
That's cool. I don't know. Is it flashy enough?
It's
The
not.
flashiest, for sure. Yeah, exactly, right? Definitely not the flashiest.
I'm kind of we'll have to see. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like this could have been a very intentional choice from them, right?
Sure.
Because I do think that having a range of classes from like really visually ornate to
Mhm.
something that's a little bit more straightforward, that's a little bit more like slashy glow lines. There are
Mhm.
people that are going to be drawn to either side of this,
Yeah.
like the more sparse or like specific kind of look, or the really over the top super graphical effect look. And I feel like they've made the choice to go the route of it being very like lightsabery kind of streamlined. But
Mhm.
I'm a little disappointed because I would have loved to see something, but I'm more of an ornate person. So this
Right.
is just coming from that perspective. Like, if they are tying in the hunting and all kinds of stuff, like having some sort of like huge like viper strike that happens,
Mhm.
like with a beast, would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Something
I
like
will
that I think would
say,
have been neat, but
I
Mhm.
will say, there is a portion where they swing the camera around and like zoom in on the character, like
Mhm.
right before they do that
Limit break.
two-prong
Yeah.
Mhm.
attack thing. So like there could be some effects we're not seeing there just because we're
Sure.
all up in the
yeah,
guy's
for sure.
face.
Yeah.
The first couple of strikes, they're pretty flashy.
Yeah, they're cool.
Mm.
I think that maybe if the snake bite and then like a snake like glow effect happened or something,
Mhm.
I don't know. I really feel like Viper is targeted at people who thought, I want a thief, I don't want a flashy ninja, so maybe that's why they're doing it.
Mm.
I don't know. We'll see as we get closer, but it's cool to see that. We have not seen Picto's limit break though, that we
No.
know of. It could have been the Spriggan thing in the trailer.
I hope
It could
not.
have. It could
Could
have.
be.
I
But
mean,
the
yeah.
It could be.
the only thing we see for Picto through this entire thing is the same Moogle Blast that we saw. So
Yeah.
Pictomancers, sorry, there's not much for you. Um,
It's okay.
there's we got a month and a couple of days until we start Media Tour and then have that producer letter live. So
Mhm.
this will have to tide us over. It's not a lot of food, but it's almost good food.
Picto is at 428.
428.
Just
Okay, yeah, I didn't even put it in.
FYI, yeah, if anybody.
Yeah, thank you.
It's right before the
Yeah.
the limit break stuff, but
And just to, due diligence, it looks like it's an OGCD, I believe, once I get back to it. Yep, you see that telltale blue glow.
dedication.
I mean, it's kind of fun to try and piece it together.
No, I didn't even think about that. That's a great
Yeah.
way to figure out what these could be.
Right. And so you got a Moogle Beam. I want to know so much more, but we'll have to wait. And we get the benchmark. I believe it is April 14th at midnight Pacific that they said it would drop.
yeah. I mean, by the time
Um,
if you're listening to this episode, it's out. So
Yeah,
It's
most
out.
likely.
It's out. So go.
go
Sure,
get it
live,
and,
yeah.
and see how disappointed you are with your current
Yeah.
computer system.
Or
I don't
being
know.
excited because you just upgraded and everything is knocking
There
it
you
out
go.
of the park. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
when we're
make
done
sure
with
to
the show
test it.
today, I gotta
Yeah.
put in the RAM that I've had for 3 months and haven't put in yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's time.
How do you buy
I
RAM
wonder-
and it sit there for 3 months?
I've been so busy, man.
What?
I just want to come home and play the
RAM
computer.
is
I don't want to come home and
easiest
upgrade
thing
the
to
computer.
install. You just
But
pop it in.
I don't know because I wasn't able to watch it live or see the translation that closely. Did they mention female Hrothgar in the benchmark?
Yes,
Can you make
Yeah,
one? Okay,
you
cool.
can.
Then go
Yeah.
do it for that. Go do
Yeah.
it for that.
I am
Go
excited.
look at
about
how they
that.
look.
Me too.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that. They're so beautiful.
So yeah. So that's everything from the benchmark trailer that is job related. I mean, the areas look cool. Kryl holds a tablet. That's cool.
Dude, guy
We see
flips
some
out the
Pelu Pelu.
paper, and that paper animates.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was
Hubba
very
zubba.
cool.
Eats
Yes,
food.
yes.
Pelu Pelu alpaca like flock going
Giants
someplace.
have very big fingers. Can confirm.
They do.
They do.
Yeah.
It's
All
gonna
the
be so
giants
hard
are
calling them
cute.
giants because they're trolls. They're 11's trolls.
Sure.
They're
Yeah.
always going to be
So
trolls for me.
cute, though. I love it. They're the ones that have the really big eyes,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to squish his face. He's so cute. I love them. The Pelu Pelu are also adorable. I
Yeah,
love
they
all the garments of all the characters, the
Mhm.
landscape. They had just on social media on Twitter released a preview image of what is it called? Oh, I'm gonna have to go try and find it. The mountain peak that we hadn't seen before in
sure.
concept art, which they
Mhm.
also showcase in this
Mhm.
in this particular benchmark kind of sequence in the trailer, and it looks so cool. Like the range and the reach of everything just looks really
Yeah.
gorgeous. And I definitely, even as they were like running around during the live letter in different areas in the major city,
Mhm.
I was like getting more and more excited to just be immersed in everything because the landscapes really look beautiful this expansion.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the benchmark. Go get it when you have some time. Look at the video. Go very slow. Tell me what you think. Tell us what you think. Like, what do you think that
And tell us
gunbreaker
if we're
thing
wrong.
is? Yeah, absolutely. Because we got a month, and I would love to speculate about it because it's better than talking about not having content until then, or whatever the heck's going on. And
Did you know
Twitter
that Final
space.
Fantasy 14 7.0 will have DLSS and FSR?
Ooh.
I did.
I
We could
don't
talk
know what
about
an
that for an
acronym is.
entire month.
Wow.
It's graphic stuff. It's gonna have graphic
Yeah.
settings. With the
If
new
you-
graphics, they're adding settings for those graphics.
So DLSS, FSR, both of them are ways to take an image. And yes, I know you're going to hear this and you're going to be like, no, I don't want it AI. But this has been happening for a long time, and it's something that humans can't do because it's so fast. Where they will AI basically upscale, so you're basically playing it at a lower level, but it's upscaling it so that it looks better for you, or vice versa. And DLSS is NVIDIA's way, FSR is AMD's way. So depending on your graphics card vendor, it's not that simple, but it basically is. You can look into it if you'd like, but basically DLSS is a shortcut to getting better graphics at lower spec, but only if you actually have a graphics card that can do it.
The idea
which
is
like,
that it's like the system acts
Yeah.
like it's running it at lower res, right? So you get
Yeah.
the performance boost, but magic wizards in the computer are making it look
Yes.
higher res.
when it's
Oh,
presented to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate
So it's
that.
basically any of those AI upscaling things that you've ever seen, like old movies when they get upscaled. It's similar, but this is per frame as it's coming into your eyeball, basically,
Mhm.
which is
Humans
why
could do
it
that.
needs
I
to
don't know
be
what you're
AI.
talking about. We could totally
Yeah, just draw it every time.
yeah,
Rotoscope it.
Easy.
Um,
Yeah.
They can. It just takes 5 million years.
Yeah. The only thing to note about this is both of these are not the newest versions of either of these technology. They
Yeah.
said that it'll be DLSS 2 and FSR 1, which is the worst. It's like, I hope they do something with that, but DLSS 2.0 is fine. 3.0 is the newest one, but you might not even have a card that can do that if you don't have like a 4000 series, I think.
Yeah.
NVIDIA.
I think
So it's cool.
DLSS
Try it out.
3 is 4. I think DLSS 2 is 3 series,
Yeah.
3000 series. Yeah.
Try
you
it
know-
out in the benchmark if it's in there.
Yeah, definitely. They also showed different settings for like shadows,
Yeah.
as well for shadow softening and stuff like that.
More control is good.
Yeah, definitely play around with as many things as you can in the benchmark. I know just watching the demonstration of how many flowers are in Ilmeg, like anytime Yoshida moved the camera, I could just see the bit rate being like, oh god. So
Oh,
Yeah.
so
for-
nice though. I was watching with somebody and they pointed this out. The flowers in Ilmeg now, when you walk through them, they rustle. Like they rustle in your
Yeah.
wake. Whereas before they just clipped
I don't
right
even
through your body.
I don't even
and
think
just-
the damn foliage in 7 Rebirth did that.
it's
Yeah.
so good. I was so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good, but man, if you stream a lot and you like Ilmeg, maybe start eyeballing that AV1 encoder for 4 series GPUs because it's there's a lot of little things now on the screen with all the grass and foliage upgrades and stuff. So we'll have to see how that works out.
So that's benchmark and settings. I definitely wanted to talk about Foxclone and how unhinged he is. Why did he wear this costume? That's gonna haunt my nightmares forever.
Gosh. Oh man.
You didn't like it?
You couldn't
No.
pay me enough, I don't think,
Really?
to want to wear that.
You could definitely pay me enough to wear that.
Yeah, I would. I would be
I
paid
would
make
enough.
me an
Totally, I would
offer.
totally-
Make me an offer,
I
and then I'll
would do it.
decide
I would do
if
it.
I could be paid enough.
You hear
Oh
a
my
square?
gosh.
There is a number. We have a number. Let's start talking about it.
I
They're
thought
not.
it was
They're not going to
hilarious.
care. They're not going to care about
No,
our
they're
number.
not gonna care.
That
It's
outfit.
low. Yeah, that outfit's
You
just
know he was
hilarious.
having a great time.
Oh yeah. Oh for sure.
I get warm easily, so I feel like if like I had that on for like 5 minutes, I'd be like, ugh, like I'd be dead.
Yeah.
Like I would be able to do it. Studio lights, and no, I would be melting.
Yeah, he's a freaking trooper because I think he wore it until the dev panel. So that's like 3 or 4, maybe up to 5 hours of this
Oh.
broadcast he was wearing.
Couldn't do it.
No way.
I hope it was comfortable.
Yeah.
I recently I had the Carlac horns on for like
Mhm.
3 hours, and by the end of that I was like, no. No.
So, I guess what do we want to talk about with the? Because most of it was like the before and afters, right?
Yeah, so I mean, they showed a lot of little like graphic details,
Mhm.
right? And of course, during this whole thing, Yoshida's like, "It looks better if you just play it." I'm like, "Okay, great." Like all this talk, look at this, look at that, but it looks better if you just play it. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
How?
like just little
Yeah.
things.
How?
Like NPC's eyes twitch a little bit now, just like real
Uh-huh.
life. Just,
Okay.
showing the texture, showing the size of stuff. They
Yeah.
were hanging out at in one of the zones, and showing the current game versus what 7.0 is. In the current
Yeah.
game, you have that what is it, the tessellation, where it
Yes.
like kind of makes the ground look 3D, but really it just looks like like
Mhm.
literal vomit, and it just looks
Yeah.
weird and chunky.
Dang.
It does. It does. Go over to like some of the rocks in like Az's Law or something,
Sure.
and just look down, and you're like, what is happening with the surface?
Yeah.
But a lot of the textures now are higher res. They've been scaled a little
Mhm.
bit. So what are like used to be giant blocky blobby cobblestones are now like a bunch more sharper little stones.
Yeah. They are
You look better when
gorgeous.
wet.
They really are.
They are so gorgeous. Like literally somebody messaged me. I was playing a different game. So sorry everyone. I was
Oh
just,
my
I had a
god,
Dare
how
you.
could
I
you?
know, I'm so sorry. I was playing a different game because
I
a
was
friend and
too.
I
Yeah.
thank you, solidarity. Because a friend and I, even though it was a 14-hour broadcast,
Mhm.
we had made a little friend date to play a game together. So we were playing that game, and then I got a DM from someone, and they were like, "Have you seen these graphics? Holy cow, they look amazing!" And I was like, "And for the rest of the night, now we will just watch this." And so
Mhm.
like, well, my friend is also a 14 player, so we both were consumed, and we just went over and we're watching it, and honestly, like. I made the joke and I'll make it again. We were like, damn, bitch, you live like this. like the so sorry, it's a little spicy. But we don't even realize how we've been living
Yes.
Yeah.
until you actually see it. And like we're looking at the before, and you know what, Fusion, your description is not wrong. It does kind of just look like color vomit. It just
Mhm.
looks like color texture vomit on the ground. And then you look at the upgrade, and it's like every single stone is defined. You can see the
Yeah.
blades of grass between them. You can see, like Aldino, like you're pointing out, like when it gets wet, like the beautiful like texture on them, and like how the characters, like you can see the like points of that, like the wet on them. Sorry, it's
You
like
look better when wet now.
I mean, it's just
There's
like
better wet
it
textures.
Yeah.
all looks great. The crystal, like when they were showing Aetherytes, the metal, they really have done so much. Some of the stuff with the like the fog effects and other kind of lighting effects, environment effects, which they had talked
Mhm.
about wanting to really address. Like it is so beautiful. And like I have to say the character models don't look as drastically different as I thought they
Mhm.
might. I mean, yes, they're much clearer. They're much crisper.
They're
They're much,
sharper. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not like it looked it didn't look as drastic as I thought it might with
Mhm.
the upgrades on like the Lalafell at least.
Yeah.
It might be much more distinctive on other races, I'm not sure. But
Yeah, we'll
man, it
have to
just this
see.
whole thing was so good. I
And the-
was so happy to see more.
They're also,
Mhm.
you should have said they were kind of ahead of schedule too, because before we were kind of under this impression that we might have kind of like how we did with 6.x, every patch. Okay, we're going to catch up trusts and dungeons and stuff.
Yeah.
We thought we would get a repeat of that with the graphic enhancements, but it sounds like all the groundwork is done
Yeah.
now for all these changes, that's awesome. So
Yep. It's it's really cool. They said this is something that stuck out to me, mostly because people have been complaining about it forever. Fingers and toes will have more polygons, so maybe they'll be
Yes.
a little less blocky and weird.
people that
And they
enjoy
said,
wearing
"We added as
sandals
many
will
as
be
we could."
slightly less weirded out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We added as many polygons to the fingers and toes as we could.
So like if you're
And
like
I'm
a
just
toe
the things we have to
person,
talk about.
7.0 is
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. Toe people rejoice.
Toe people rejoice.
That's all I want to say about that.
Oh my gosh.
That's it.
There it is. Okay.
What?
My That's fine.
Okay.
I've been
It's like-
trying to say something for like 5 minutes
Oh,
and
no.
it's not been working. So I was like, what is going on? But now apparently I'm hitting the right button, or whatever
Oh.
was broken is not broken anymore.
What did you want to say?
Oh, yeah, we want to say.
Oh my god, what was it? No, there was this one scene where you're standing on like a metal dock and it's raining and there was like very churning water.
Yoshida's
Yes,
like,
the
I
wave.
cannot move this camera or I will be in trouble. Obviously, I think he was in Solution 9.
It did. It had like the
There was
purple
a
light
pink
somewhere in
neon
there.
strip. Like,
Yeah.
it's, come on.
Yeah.
But that didn't look good to me.
Oh, the water.
The water very specifically was kind of like, eh.
Sure.
And you know, in their defense, water is hard.
It is
But
very hard.
it was kind
No,
of
water is wet. It's a liquid.
Oh my gosh.
Water
I mean,
is also
can be
hard
hard,
if
too.
your pipes are bad.
Yeah.
That's true. I will say that some of the stuff with the movement, right? I can see what you mean, because some of the stuff with the like enhanced movement of stuff, like they were in one of the what is it? It's one of the dungeons that has all the spores and fungus and
Amdapor.
Amdapor. I think it's Amdapor. But all that to say, they showed some of the movement compare contrast between the kind of like fungi that were around in the environment and how they like wiggle and like kind of like bounce around. And I feel like they could tune it back like a notch, you know?
Sure.
I like
Yeah.
having the additional movement, but it definitely still it felt like it felt exaggerated to the point that I thought some of the models were starting to just look a little funny as they moved. And maybe some of that had to do with the water effect too. I'm not
The water
totally
effect
sure.
was, I think it was a little too extra. Like, tone it down just
Sure.
like a little bit. I mean,
Yeah, I think to bring it back a little.
It looked
Sure.
more like, and this is a silly comparison, but it looked more like the inside of a washing machine than like rolling waves in a storm.
it was very like
Yeah.
chunky, blobby.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, what are the best ways to describe chunky, blobby water?
The water
Yeah.
was smooth, and water during a storm is not smooth.
Yeah, it's interesting how water is often done. Is basically you have like a texture that you then basically figure out how high each part of it would be, and it turns into a height map, and that's how you get the waves moving across. They just tile these and then put an effect on top of them. And maybe they just have too many layers, because some games definitely do this, where they'll have a layer going forward and back trying to really do fluid dynamics. Let's not. We don't need to do that. We really don't need to try that.
The graphics seems like, yeah, we're
don't
like
do it.
nailing this. Look at this like metal texture. Hell yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go tackle some water. Let's just
Yeah.
do it. And it's like,
No.
okay.
Yeah, you're good. Everything's fine.
It's fine. But it also was like very much like on the side, and you probably won't be just staring at it too much. Maybe,
Yeah, of
question
course.
Mark. I don't know.
Obviously, Fusion's never RP'd in game.
Yeah.
I danced once. Rook knows, she was there. She had to dye my shirt. My
I
level
did,
1
yeah.
character
One
could not
time.
dye my shirt.
We
I
went to
don't
a
want
party.
to. I don't want to put you or anybody else down who uses this as their primary form of RP, but
Wow.
No, that's not real RP, and I know this as a person who does much more elaborate stuff than that. But you know, if
she
you
said it,
did,
not me. I didn't say it.
we
I
all
mentioned
have
it,
to
though.
start somewhere. You know what I mean? And a
Sure.
lot of times, RP starts by going to club venues for people. So
I mean,
Yeah.
he's RP'd in the tabletop. Aiden is a real
Yes, a
existing
real
character.
Oh, that's real.
It's
That's real.
That's why I
We'll talk about
specified in.
tabletop.
I've also had ideas for other characters pop into my brain.
There you go.
Oh,
Holy bejeebus.
Yeah. But I can't tell any of you.
That's fine. Keep that secret to yourself until you
Keep it secret,
you
keep it
just-
safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there
Show up in
any
game one
other-
day and we're all just hanging out, RPing like weirdos, looking at the water. And you're like, "Hello, fellow kids. How is it going?" We're like, "Is that Fusion?"
That actually kind of pinpoints a mood on my character. Anyway. So yeah, so that's
I think that was
pretty much it
basically
for graphics, right? New shiny
Yeah.
things look new and shiny. Please look forward to it.
Yeah.
Definitely play with the settings on the benchmark.
Go for it. Really,
Yes.
really dial everything up, dial it down.
I'm both
start to-
excited and frightened
turn things on and off.
to see what kind of numbers
Yeah.
I get.
Yeah.
I feel like my GPU's been slowly dying for a couple of years, so it's like, we'll see.
Yeah.
One of the big things they did talk about because obviously we're in this weird kind of rut where it's like E3 doesn't exist anymore, which would normally be like the last big like before. I don't know what that sounds. There's less like big like before the expansion. I'll just make a bunch of weird pop sounds.
There's a button I can press, but I'm not gonna.
Oh,
The last big
I have a button for that too.
before an
Oh my
expansion. And we don't have that this year, right? E3's gone. That's why it looked like, you know, the booth at PAX East was spruced up a little bit more than we normally see, because that was probably their E3 budget.
Yep.
But we've had this kind of like pattern of release of stuff, and it's so weird. I didn't think we'd get the benchmark.
Yep.
With this, like everyone's like, oh, we're gonna get the benchmark. I'm like, let me tell you, I've been around. We are not getting the benchmark. And then it starts off, and I'm just like, son of a bitch. Like, it's just...
Where's your hat? Oh, it's gone because you had to eat it.
It did taste good though. It was a nice,
Oh, that's good.
nice fabric.
Yeah,
Put a little ketchup on it.
Nice texture.
It is very
We'll
interesting.
talk about ketchup too.
Yeah. It is very interesting to me how they have kind of changed things up a bit here, right? I feel like the timing of everything does feel very different than it has been in the past with expansion releases. And there was talk as well with like the benchmark and other things that are going to be happening that changes a little bit of how even outlets, like Gamerscape goes all the time, or anybody else, or any of us creators who are invited, like it changes a bit of what's even going to be in something like the media tour. So seeing them kind of laid out like this is so interesting to me because I'm just so curious. I feel like they've shown more and like had stuff kind of come out in a different staggered way. Maybe they just felt like previously that too much was directly loaded into the media tour.
Yeah, I think
versus
so.
like expanding it out more to having, more of a kind of extension of that or build it. Maybe they felt like because maybe they didn't have as much to show in some ways with the fan festivals that now they really wanted to like amp that up on a lot of different areas or a lot of
That's
different
normal for
venues, or,
Fan
like,
Fest
different
though. I mean, that's
places,
like
but-
everything up until honestly that JP Fan Fest was like the norm. When we didn't
Sure.
get the collector's edition, I was like, oh, okay. It's so weird too, because obviously we're gonna have a different perspective on this, right? As people that have been covering this game for so long. But yeah, once they were like, no thing, I'm like, oh, that's weird. And everyone's like, well, what are they gonna have at PAX? Benchmark? I'm like, there's no way benchmark. Probably, I mean, the only thing they could reasonably have if they're like trying to catch up to what is normal, air quotes, is the collector's edition and maybe a day, and that is what we got. So it was interesting when they're like, we're gonna do a PLL, and I'm like, but what do you have to talk about? Which was my original point that I was getting to. I started talking, I was like, I was going somewhere with this.
Yeah.
I don't know where.
I believed in you.
So it's like, okay, we know we'll get graphics, but we've also been getting graphics like this whole time. And not to say that it doesn't look good, but it's like, okay, yes, we know the game will look better. Like, and what else you got for us, right? Blacklist
works too.
Blacklist is getting updated in 7.0, which is awesome.
I did not think they would do this.
Oh, I'm so
This is
glad
so
they
cool.
are, though.
This is so cool.
So many of these things I was looking at, I'm like, we should have had this years ago.
Years ago.
I'm glad
This
we're
is an
getting it
MMO.
now. I'm glad we're getting it now.
Yeah.
But like, damn, bitch, we lived like this.
Again.
So, the way that it's gonna work now is there's actually gonna be two lists. There's gonna be a blacklist and a mute list. So basically, everything that's on your blacklist now is gonna become your mute list, which is you don't see messages from people you've mute listed, right? Your blacklist is gonna be a new thing where it mutes messages, but also hides character models of people that you block, which is like, I'm doing a thumbs up. Good.
So
That's really good. Right in there.
Yes.
They're also going to have a term filter, which is good,
Sure, yeah.
but it does not apply to Link Shells, Crossworld Link Shells Party, or FC Chat,
Interesting.
which is interesting, right? Like, if I'm like, and this is the example, like, because I was sitting on the couch watching this with my wife yesterday, and I made the example, I'm like, if Avengers Endgame comes out and I block Iron Man from my term filter, the first place I would probably hear about it is in a group with my friends. I don't want to hear about it there. I set it up as a filter for a reason. And they said that they did this because they didn't want to like interrupt what would be like a normal chat and stuff. But like, if I'm putting something on my filter, I'm putting it in my filter for a reason, and it's not to see it pop up somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would like to see them adjust this and add an extra toggle to block it out of everything.
Sure, if you could control it.
Yeah.
I could see leaving link shell, crossword link shell, and FC because theoretically, you are only in those things with people that you trust. But you end up with parties with people you do not know.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, you go into an
it's weird
alliance
that
raid
party
and
doesn't
someone's gonna be
count.
like, "Yo, I can't believe they killed Joffrey in Game of Thrones." You're like, "Son of a bitch!" Like it's just like that's that kind of thing. It's like
I think it's
that's why it should
kind of
be
adorable
for
that
all
you're
chat.
thinking about this in terms of not getting spoiled by the internet.
I mean,
it's
that is a real concern, or with, even being spoiled, like even being spoiled about the game, right? Like I know with new expansions or new content when it comes out, a lot of times I will just like super minimize my chat so that I can't see anything.
Yeah.
So like having the ability to customize that, I would love. I agree. I would love if it applied to everything. I am glad they are doing this. I want to be clear because again, a lot of these safety tools and all these other things are like. It's great. It's something we really needed. And there are ways, in case anybody doesn't know, that you can customize all of your chats, right? So if you're worried that your FC is going to, spoil you on something and you don't have like a hard spoilers rule with them set up, you can create a separate chat channel that like, you take out or you hide the FC chat from your feed or, things like that. So there are still ways that you can navigate it, but it is interesting both with this and with the blocked people that in instances, or like if you're instancing in for content, there is such a priority given to the fact that you are in an instance, right? You are in an instance, so you need to communicate with each other. So we're not going to do anything that would make it so that you couldn't communicate to like navigate it. Or the fact that if you have somebody on your block list, the next step that they really need to do beyond this is to make sure that like if you block somebody, you don't get queued with them.
That's
like,
what really surprised me. They're doing all these enhancements, and then they talk about like, oh, but if you enter a duty with somebody on your blacklist, yeah, you're gonna see them, but their name is gonna be listed as like unknown or whatever. Do they see you as unknown? Because then you end up in a situation where you jump into an alliance raid, there's somebody you really don't like, they can start talking shit about you, and you might have no idea because they might be able to see your name, but you can't see them. You don't know. Like, it's just the idea of like, they're almost there. But like, if I blacklist somebody, I don't want to run I don't want to run a dungeon with them. Don't match me with that. I get that that's like an extra step for like the matchmaking, but like, that's what the next step needs to be. Give me a filter all chats and make it so I don't match with people on my list. Like that's, I was like, they almost had it perfect. They're right there. One of the other things too, is they're doing this, and this is great. This is something I'm surprised. Again, it took this long. Estate expulsion feature.
Yeah.
So if somebody's in your house and you're like, I don't want you in my house, you can kick them out of the house, which is great.
Who knew?
Yeah,
that's gonna be great for venues.
Yes.
Talking about venues, that's gonna be super great for venues.
Yeah. So characters that get added to the no entry list, this is a little strange, will be unable to enter the estate for 10 days.
So you're every 10 days you're gonna have to like go through
we'll
the process
get to
of
it. We'll circle back to this, right? It's a little weird, the 10 days. This will apply to all the characters on an expelled character service account. So like if you kick somebody and they log in with the second character, they still can't get in, which is great. That's amazing. Free company masters and estate owners will have access for this function. Free company masters and estate owners can designate up to 4 free company members or housemates to have access to this function. So you'll be able to have, I don't know if that's 4 total or 4 in addition to, so 4 to 5 people that can block. They also say when players with expulsion privileges are in the estate, so any of those 4 to 5 people, their blacklists will also be counted by this expulsion feature, which that's great. But the 10-day thing seems a little weird, and I'm not sure how they came to that decision. Like maybe they just don't want to store the names.
Yeah, I guess
something?
because they go, you know what? If you really don't want them in there, just blacklist them. They won't be there forever.
Yeah.
And this is a temporary. Please leave until the next week of the venue or something like that.
The thing about
you know?
blacklists, though, they're not endless.
Yeah,
you can
they
fill
are
them
not.
up.
Yeah, they also have the limitations, and it seems as though they are the same as current friends list, right? Is it 200?
200.
200, yep.
So that, to me, also indicates that at least with 7.0, we will not see an expansion. Did they say that? Did they confirm that they were expanding the friends list capabilities? Am I remembering that now?
I didn't even
No,
know.
I don't believe so.
Because if that's still like a hard cap, even for something like the band list, I imagine that must be the same still for friends list.
You know, I guess you could get around it if you have, you know, a housemate where you can go, please blacklist this person for me, and then they won't be able to get into your estate, so you can get 201. Do you have to be there?
In the estate when players with expulsion privileges are in the estate, so they would have to be there.
Yeah,
that's true.
It could be better, but like this, obviously, like, you know, they'll hear the feedback from this. Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't have this before, because you know, it's going, you know, having, you know, being someone that's gone to like venues right before, that idea of like, if one person is just like the world's biggest butt, like, what do you do?
And not the good kind,
right? Just like the stinkiest, like wettest butt.
Stinky
Oh
stink.
boy! Oh jeez!
Walrus snake butt.
It's a lot of adjectives going around.
Wow, yeah, we've
right
really
now.
using that texture stuff from the current game. It's just like a butt covered with that weird okay.
It's a vom butt.
Vom butt.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Vom
sure.
butt.
Vom butt.
Oh man. But yeah, this is a great first step. There's I think stuff in most of these areas where they could improve it a little bit. But yeah, it's cool that they're finally getting around to this stuff. So
yeah.
And then also there's going to be enhanced lodestone privacy settings. So
that's cool too.
People can't, you know, look. You can decide if your thing is public at all, which is great because for so long there's been a lot of third-party sites out there that are tracking your stats, whether you want them to or not, because everything is just kind of there. So that's
goodbye, stalkers.
They're fun. You know, I mean, and some of it is like playful stuff. It's like seeing how many people have gotten minions, or you know, minion and mount stats. But then you have, you know, the achievement stats, and it starts to, you know, you could get into toxic territory with who's cleared what, and you know, oh, I could see you complained about this, but you haven't actually cleared this content, so and it's like, go away, you know, like it's there's some weird people out there, so to be able to just cut it off entirely is really nice. And this
that's true.
Interacts with the blacklist in game too, so if you blacklist somebody in game, they can't look at your stuff, and it's wonderful.
So chat's brought up a point. If you blacklist somebody on an alt, does that also apply to like the house expulsion?
If you're in,
I guess not, because they'd have to be in the house.
I think
some of the stuff is client side. Term filter was client side, they said.
Yeah.
I don't know about the estate, but I mean the
Blacklist
blacklist
aside
is
from
server side.
estate-
Blacklist is server side.
Yeah, but aside from estate, if you have someone on your blacklist on an alt, then they technically are on your blacklist on your main without having them actually on there.
Yeah, since it's your service account.
Yeah.
Well, that's
if you
good.
have two service accounts on the
I think
same
you should
account?
just let me see all my blacklist stuff. I think they need to just, because I mean it's you know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
If you've like filled that blacklist, there's a bigger problem here that needs to be addressed.
Mine's full of 1.0 guild bots that I should probably delete.
I mean, that's the other thing, right? Like there should be an easy way to kind of filter and go through and be like, okay, who hasn't logged in like 10 years? Like, are these accounts even active anymore? If it's an inactive account or the account's been banned, remove it from my list automatically. You know what I mean? Like things like that would be awesome. Because especially for somebody like Zen, those accounts aren't around anymore. If it's all 1.0 guild sellers, so get rid. Yeah, like the system should just be like, oh yeah, no, these don't need to be here.
I'm gonna do that today.
There you go.
I didn't even think about it until
Prune
today.
that
when
list.
we were
That
talking
seems
about this.
like such a much more fun thing. I have to do taxes today, so like
Yeah,
if you want to
do.
trade,
Yeah.
if you want to
No, I
trade,
do
like I'll
not.
go through it. Yeah, I didn't think so. I tried.
Yeah,
taxes
2
here in
days.
the US are due on
Yeah.
Monday.
Yep.
Probably if
Life.
you're hearing this, it is too late to file.
Life.
Just a heads up.
IRS is
Do 'em.
coming for you.
Get this up tonight so that we can warn people. Do your taxes.
The IRS are coming.
The only thing I wanted to add to this is that there was a little comment that they made that they said that they decided to implement all these blacklist lodestone things changes over half a year ago, so about 6 months ago to 9 months ago. That's very cool. Why wasn't it earlier? Like that's
Not
just
enough
the
people
weird
had
thing to me.
stalkers.
Yeah, I guess so. I
I mean,
guess
I feel like it's been a problem that has been
people have been
pervasive in the
talking about it
community for a long time.
Yeah.
long
Yeah,
time.
A
definitely. for
long
reals.
time.
Maybe they were thinking about how to. I don't know. It's just weird that don't give us the time. Like, just don't tell us that it was over half a year ago. Just say we've been trying to do it since the beginning.
Yeah, we've
'Cause
been trying to
that's
do it
weird.
the whole
Just,
time.
or even just be like, we've heard you. We're going to do it. Don't be, you know,
Yes.
like if you date yourself in any way, it's going to be like,
Yeah,
all right. And we're just getting it now.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, Sanders, like, was there some kind of big news case in Japan that might have
Maybe.
incited this? I mean, it's very
Could have been.
possible, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think that as we talk about a lot on the podcast, there are so many things in 14 that they listened so much to the player base about, that they really are hyper aware of, communicate. And then there are other things that I feel like are very much a big part of the community. Maybe it's also just us being in the US or in the West. Maybe there's a difference there. I don't know. Maybe the community or the way that these things kind of internationally cross regions to make feedback reach Japan. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe some of it as well had to do with some of the previous limitations with systems and things, and with some of the updates and upgrades, and other things that they might have ahead, they
Mhm.
went, oh, hey, now we could do this, right?
Yeah.
But it is so funny because, yeah, this is one that it does feel like, how did we not have something like this for so long? And
Yeah.
how was it not of like a higher priority when I've heard so many stories from people in the
Yes.
community about harassment, about stalkers, and a lot of this as well too, as I've been talking about a lot on my own channel, they need to keep thinking about this because not only are there some limitations even with these steps like we've talked about that they'll be implementing, but there's also the fact that in 14, as our game gets more and more, you can make a bunch of characters, you can travel anywhere, you can, go back and forth on whatever servers. There's still the problem that we don't have account-wide identifiers. So I can't, just go, hey, I just want to be friends with Aldiano. And so I look up your tag and I'm like, we're friends. And any character that you're on, it shows me this is at Aldiano character name, right? Or whatever it is, like an account identifier.
Yeah, like BattleNet friends.
Yeah, like BattleNet
yeah.
friends.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
kind of thing.
Square has had
So-
issues with their account stuff for a while too. I mean,
yeah.
talk to anyone that's
But-
ever moved cross region.
Yeah.
Can't move their account.
But it's something that I think they need to figure out at some point because all of these blocking tools are amazing, but there is still one really big one, which is that if that person makes a character that's not the one you have blocked, they can just harass you. So like that's definitely the next step, but at the very least this shows that it's on their radar. They are aware that it's a thing. They have decided to implement it, and these tools are amazing to have. For many folks, I'm sure it's going to be a huge game changer, which is really fantastic, honestly.
Yep.
All right.
I guess we get into stats.
Stats. So this we knew. This was, I think, PAX East. They threw this number out: 30 million registered accounts. I get they want to show the biggest number, but I really want to hear active players. I just like,
Yeah.
that's great. 30 million, that's huge. How many of those are people that stopped playing like 7 years ago? Like I want the actual.
Well,
never
aren't
give
they
it to us.
active registered
No, these are
accounts?
just registered accounts. These are just
Oh,
registered players.
interesting.
That's how
Oh,
it keeps
okay.
going up because it's like more people are registered and they may not be playing, but we have
Mm-hmm.
this many accounts that have been created. It's the biggest number they could get to throw on their PR blasts. They have received 240 accolades worldwide.
Yeah.
That's a lot. We gave them one. We gave them best game of 20 something.
2020 Shadowbringer.
Yeah.
I forget what it was. It's on their accolades page. You can go.
Shadowbringer.
You can go on there. They have on the Lodestone. There's an accolades page. We're in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Nominated 313 times.
It's a good ratio.
Well, keep in mind though, not all these accolades are from nominated type things necessarily.
true.
So I'd like to see that split, but I don't know if they have that number if they'd want to show it. 88 Aetherytes reached.
So yeah, that's how many we have total.
Yeah.
Which is wild to think about.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
When in 2.0 there were only 27.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they said that this doesn't include the 7.0 Aetheryte. So what do you I put this note in here. Do you think we're going to be over 100 at the end of 7.0? Are we going to get 12 more, 13 more Aetherites?
We're gonna get at
Pretty
least
easy,
10
right?
just right off the bat.
Yeah.
Each zone will probably have 2, and we'll get 5
Yeah.
zones.
Yeah.
6 zones. So right there, that's 12.
Yeah. So
Done.
I think we're over 100.
They made
that
one.
doesn't
They made
count
one
any
zone
of
just
the,
a
like,
little
cities and
bit
stuff.
extra big. They're like, we need to get that even 100.
And this is why they did those changes to the teleport menu, because 100 is a lot. Holy crap.
It's a few. 325 duties in the duty finder. That does not include PvP, Gold Saucer, or Eureka.
Yeah, Eureka Diadem or anything.
Pretty
like that.
wild.
That's a
Yeah,
lot. That was
that's a lot of
higher
stuff.
than
That's a
I
lot.
expected. That one surprised me.
There's a lot of content in this game, honestly.
Yeah.
What do you mean a 14-year-old game has lots
So
of
that
content?
doesn't include variant dungeons either, because it's got its own little duty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I
They
believe
need
that
to
is true.
fix that. It's such a weird little thing off on the side by its own.
Connect them.
Yep.
Connect them.
159 hours of cutscenes.
Yeah, including side quests.
Oh, you know what we should have done?
Woo.
Is do our playtimes.
Oh, I
we
just looked
should
at mine recently.
have.
Oh, it's
Mine
been a
is
long time.
I
since
don't know
I've
mine
done
is yet.
Mine is very low
Mine
comparatively.
is like 4 years.
I'm wondering.
I've got like. Go ahead.
I'm really curious what mine is compared to my 11 playtime, because
Oh,
in 11
yeah.
I would overnight Player Bazaar.
Yeah.
And that's never that's never
Yeah.
something I've done in 14 because we don't have that functionality.
Yeah.
So, well, at least not in
Yeah.
2.0 onwards. Back in my day, there were rewards and we could go and shop at NPCs that all looked like mannequins with no souls, and it was a
I
it was a whole
gotta-
thing.
I gotta think, because I'm thinking about my playtime, because I played since 2.0 on the same character. I had to skip a tier of raid and which was a little bit of Stormblood. But I think I don't want to guess. We should bring this to next episode just to talk about.
Everybody
playtime.
gets a little bit of homework.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. But I'm like, it's got to be, because with RP that changes it,
Mhm.
right?
Sure.
With waiting for duties, that changes it.
Alts.
Alts, I have to think that mine is the lowest for the amount of time that you almost could get. Because I raid log. It would be interesting to see that spectrum. I almost want to do a survey of played time and then talk about the things that you're
Yeah.
into.
But
It'd be
before
really
you
cool.
look up the number, you need from a scale of 1 to 10 how old you feel, and then you need to answer that again after you see how many hours you put into the
It's
That's
not
a
going
good-
to
yeah,
change.
with
Felix.
that question.
Stop it.
We should figure that out. Get a little survey.
I'm
of
logging
that.
in right now. I'm just going to do it.
You just
I
gotta do
can't.
it.
I don't have the
Go for
technology.
it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Stream crashed.
But,
Sorry, I wanted to see how old I should feel.
But yeah, so 159 hours of cutscenes, but there was only 75 during the 5th
5
anniversary.
years ago, yeah.
So we doubled in
Ding,
5
ding,
years.
ding.
Sounds normal.
4,917 minutes of music.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Over 1,583 songs.
All of them
Yes,
bangers.
There's a few.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's
Which
really
is
the
so
true most
weird
prolific
because
stat.
Growing
Yeah.
Light just came out. I got mine like
Mhm.
2 weeks ago, I think. And I feel like I've never gone through an OST so fast. Like, I'll get it and I'll like play it, right? I'll be like, no, I'm not feeling these, whatever. I feel like there were a lot of repeats on this one which is
Sure.
it was weird. But yeah, man, 1583. That's
a lot.
it's a lot of music. It's a lot of music.
Yeah.
A lot?
I mean, MMOs typically have just a whole lot because you have to have the zone themes and this and that. But like they got a Guinness record a while ago for most songs in like
That
one
was
game or
yeah,
something like
the
that.
Frankfurt Fan Fest. I was there for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't how does this work now? Do they call Guinness be like, hey, we made more? Like, has
And they
anybody
go, why?
topped this? Like, do we keep this? Do you like print a new one? Like, how does this work? Like year after year? I don't.
There's almost no game that could like everyone like all new MMOs are way behind. WoW, I'd love to know the number, but it's going to be less just because of the way that they present the game.
Yeah.
This record by the time we get to the next 10 years will literally be untouchable.
Yeah.
Like there's no one that can do anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible. Like the amount of music has always been so tied into Final
Mhm.
Fantasy, right? It's the
Mhm.
two have really gone hand in hand in how they kind of illustrate a journey and tell a story. And we have these, I mean, phenomenal orchestral concerts and symphonies
Yeah.
that they do, obviously, because the music from the entire franchise has been so phenomenal.
It's actually a
But-
trick because then they take those orchestrated versions and put them in the
And put
game,
them
and then
back
that's
in.
more
Yeah,
tracks
yeah,
that they
yeah.
can add into the record.
Yeah.
But I
They cheat
mean,
a
we
little bit.
are so lucky. Like we get so many beautiful pieces of artistry in this game, and actually like seeing the stats from the amount of duties with like mechanical things that they've put in and content to like the
Mhm.
music to the cutscenes to the there's so much in 10 plus years of this game that we have been able to enjoy. It's kind of
Mhm.
wild.
It really is almost 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
The next stat: if one materia weighs 100 grams,
Wow.
and I don't know, like
Yeah.
some of those higher tiers, they got some fancy stuff going on. Which
Yeah.
deck is that? Is that
Filigree.
any deck in
This is-
particular?
This is a deck. Here, Kefka is the Joker.
Mhm.
Okay. I got
The
my
6 deck.
Final Fantasy 11 deck right here. I got the Loperit deck from Wave 3 FanFest stuff around here somewhere.
Amazing.
So they gave us that 100-gram number, and as I was
Yeah.
putting this in here, I was like, "What is 100 grams though?" Because I'm
Is this
American. I don't know what a gram is. What the heck is a kilometer?
It's like a
so-
like graham cracker. It's like a graham cracker.
Yeah, that's what it must
yeah,
be.
That sounds like
100 gram
a safe unit of weight.
It's actually
measurement.
lighter
Yeah.
than I thought it would be. I was kind of
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah,
heavy.
it's
Well, then the
really
higher tier
weird, right?
materia, they have like this weird like metal thing. I'm like, those are heavier
there's
than
no
100
way.
grams. I think.
I think that they just wanted to,
Yeah.
make it easier.
They just
for
wanted to be.
customers.
Kind of rough
They just wanted to be cute
It
about
was nice because I was able to go, I have cards.
Yeah.
So there's been 16,096 tons of materia melded
Just in the past year.
just in the past year. That's so much.
Crafters, I'm looking at
I
you.
wonder if that
Crafters,
counts
gatherers,
the
that's
one-
you.
Yeah, I wonder if that counts the ones that get broken or not. If it's
I
like the ones
don't
that
know.
actually make it in. Because if it
Yeah.
doesn't count the ones that actually make it
Says
in,
it says materia
Yeah.
melded, and melded
Yeah.
would make me think successfully.
Successful.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
that
you hit
it,
the
like-
the menu button you hit to put the materia in there. It says
But
to
if it
meld.
doesn't go, you don't
Yeah.
meld it. You
I
attempted
agree
to
with you.
meld it.
I agree with you. I'm just saying. I wonder what they think.
Yeah, I was like, there's a little bit of a something on the slide. Oh, it just says with a conversion rate of one materia equals 100 grams. Yeah, so I don't know. We need to ask a question about this, right? Someone needs to please don't ask a question about this. Do not use your question for your
How many material
about
weren't melded
yes,
though?
please don't.
How heavy is that in bicycles?
Yeah, let's not do that.
Or are we suddenly just doing like Katamari Damacy like measurements? Like
Oh
your
my
ball is as
God.
big
Yeah.
as 15 cars. Like
Yeah.
10,005.
Next one is so weird.
The
Why did
corks.
they measure this?
I love this.
Somebody's
This is
like-
dumb.
Somebody's like looking at their items. They're like corks, and then they're like, "All right, now we have to pop the cork and measure the distance of said popped cork. What is the trajectory of said cork?"
Mhm.
Corks fired from bottles of A Realm Reborn Red in the last year have flown 46,152 kilometers, which is enough to be the circumference of the Earth, which does not
Yep.
exist in Final Fantasy XIV. It's just,
Fair.
we all know Earth is the planet in 7 because Sephiroth's ultimate attack does the thing where he goes through the Milky Way and he destroys all the planets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multiple times somehow.
Multiple times.
It's such a. I was watching somebody play 7 again. I'm like, what was this attack? Like, what were they going for here? Yeah, so that's wild. All potions excluding Fantasias. They said concoctions was on the slide.
Yeah.
Imbibed for 54,350,665 liters. 56 liters. Numbers are
Yeah.
hard. Big numbers are hard.
Yeah.
They
I mean, it's
are.
a big ass number.
Which is more, I'll have you know, than the annual ketchup consumption in the United States.
You're not sitting there per run of Savage popping 2 bottles of ketchup, are you?
I hope
Here's
not.
my thing. Like they say concoctions, but all of the
They do.
icons were like the elixirs and potions. And I'm
Yeah.
like, where are the stat boosting things? Because that's the thing people are really using. Like
Yeah, right.
I like
True.
The
I feel
tinctures.
crazy. Like, does anyone actually use potions? Or like high potion? Like I've
Almost
used
never.
the Eureka,
Sometimes,
the ones in
sometimes.
Eureka. I used those.
Sure, yeah.
But like potion,
I
high
think
potion.
The last time I
why
used
do
potion
they
was
exist?
in
I've
Deep
never.
Dungeon.
Okay.
Deep Dungeon, yeah.
Deep
Yeah.
Dungeon. I think new players do as well. Or
Yeah.
if you're playing solo on a DPS and you're like out in open world, you're trying to do duties
Okay.
and stuff.
No, that's
like, you
fair.
might
That's
pop
what my
additional
wife said too.
potions.
Because like I just had this moment. I'm like, people use those. I
mean-
never have.
Listen,
have a
quite
keybind for it, yeah.
honestly, yeah, I would love. Like, I think that even if they decided to make this something that was like specific to people who were doing, oh my gosh, what is it actually called? Chemist? No,
Yeah.
alchemist? Alchemist?
Chemist.
Alchemist, yeah.
Alchemist.
Oh, alchemist, the crafter. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously I do so much craft and gathering, I
Yeah.
know what all the classes are. Alchemist, like if they did something even where as an alchemist you could make like even more useful or higher potency potions and stuff, so that they actually did like they were a good heal that you could use, or they did have other effects that you could use more at various aspects of the game. Of course, then you have to take that into account with all the other stuff and pots and balance and all the windows and everything with that. So, I mean, I understand why they haven't like really aggressively tried to make potions something
Sure.
that you're actively using.
No, they don't, and they don't need to.
But yeah, I have seen
Do-
people use them here or there.
Do you
Yeah.
guys remember in Coil, you used to bring in poison potions to make
Yeah.
the
Yes.
bosses die faster?
Yes.
You could throw a poison potion at the
Oh.
boss, and it would help.
Yeah.
the
Wait.
DPS.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think
that-
I think I'm just remembering potions to help combat rot. That's what I was thinking of in turn
yeah,
two.
that too.
That's what I was
Um,
thinking of. Yeah.
Or
Brought
to
in
keep
poison
yourself
potion.
awake. Yeah.
To
Mm.
throw.
What a word.
Yeah, I remember because as a summoner in Coil, I had the dots and also thunder and also a potion. So I had so many freaking dots, and that was fun.
I remember thinking when I started 11, because in that game you don't auto regen, you have to like actually like kneel down and like
Yeah.
regen. And I remember not knowing that when I first played. So I'm
Oh.
like, I have 3 HP. I'm gonna go into town and buy me some potions because that's what you do in RPGs. And the potions were like so expensive,
Hundreds.
like I couldn't even afford like one. I'm like,
Money was nuts.
I'm
in
like,
11.
how does this
Yeah.
work? Like what? And someone's like, just press L3. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I knew that. Yeah. Mhm.
Yep. Gotcha.
Different
Just
game, different
testing you.
time. Yeah. All right. They had a player survey. They asked when players started playing. This made me feel sad and old.
Yeah.
Stop it.
I still feel sad and old.
Stop doing that.
26% of
Don't.
players started in ARR. 13% started in Heaven's Word. 14% in Swordblood. 34% in Shadowbringers. You can see what brought the people in. And then 13% in Endwalker. 1.0 is nowhere on that list.
Yeah. There's
Please
no 1.0.
remember that we once lived Square Enix.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess we count as ARR.
It was
'cause
a
that's
negligible
4%.
percentage. There was one dude that's like, yeah, I played in 1.0. And they're like, we don't need to track that. That's fine. That's just one guy.
Yeah,
What do you-
1.0 is like I mean, it's not forgotten, but
It is. It is at this
Well,
point.
to them, from an official standpoint, it's very much not acknowledged.
No.
Very
No.
much not.
yeah.
drives
The
me
thing
crazy.
that made me feel the most like, not exactly separated, but like that same sort of feel from 2.0 players was when we were doing our list of villains and scions, like our ranking.
Mhm.
Oh,
You remember?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And you said, "What's her
Yes!
name?"
I was like, Van Darnus is an S tier
know.
villain. Fuck yeah. And you were like, I don't even know who that is. And I'm like, oh.
Don't worry, we'll get back to that specifically. Darn it.
Oh,
Later
So that
on.
that one event was the thing that made me go, oh no.
Uh-huh.
All
It's so true though. Like
Yeah.
I found out about Niall only because I researched a bunch. But
Yep.
the amount of people who, if you did not play 1.0, if you say, "Do you know who Niall is?" you might get a, "Oh, that one fight from Binding Coils."
Well, and
if
then
it's, like,
then you throw him
somebody
off
that-
because you're like, yeah, Nail Van Darnus. Oh, you mean Eula, his crazed
Yeah.
sister that pretended to be him because they accidentally messed up a character model? Yeah, that one.
Chat says more 1.0 players in this stream than on most servers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I feel
You're
old.
right.
You're a clever naughty one, you.
I'm so
I'm
old.
just saying. I'm
Uh-huh.
just saying. There's been a lot of debates and discussion about like, oh, would they ever do a WoW Classic on 1.0? And I think like ultimately many of us were like, no, 1.0 is bad. But here is a different proposition, which is that I could maybe see them doing something like how would you do this? Pre-calamity thing where there could be like a thing that they released, be it an expansion, be it or whatever. I don't know what they would do. A special thing that they decided to do where you could play through some new version of 1.0 where they had like redone the story however they felt like they wanted to, and you could witness, the calamity and stuff like that. Like I could maybe see them doing something like that, but like there's no way. There's no way.
I would like that, to be honest. Like
The-
actual
I think that'd be
1.0,
cool.
hell no. But like being able to revisit some approximation of the maps, perhaps not the actual maps because it was very copy paste heavy, but just like even being able to show people that play now the old geography would be really fun. Just be like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it used to be like this and it's like this now, and you can see how this changed
I mean,
to this. Isn't that so cool?
The immediate thing that comes to mind is like just make Dynamis in 14.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that would do it, wouldn't it?
I mean, there
It
you
would.
go.
It would.
Give
You
us
travel back
also-
in time of this zone.
or if give us Riven Road.
Oh my god. All right.
Like actual Riven Road,
8.0s.
not turn 9. Like actual Riven Road, where you have to like
Yeah.
go up the stairs to fight the golem and then come back down the
Alright.
stairs. And
You called it Dynamis, so I was like, ew, but I actually kind of like this idea.
oh,
Like
I forgot that they
8.0.
reused that in 14 though as
Yeah,
a thing.
that
That's
you can't
not what I
call
mean.
it Dynamis.
I don't mean like the
know what you
feelings
mean.
thing. I mean like in
I know what you
11,
mean.
there were like
yeah.
nightmare zones of like empty cities and stuff filled with monsters, and you would go in and clear them out. And
Yeah.
it was like
No, that's a cool idea for like a Eureka type piece of content.
it was like tactical Eureka. Is
Sure,
how I
yeah.
would best describe that. Where it's
Interesting.
like okay, there's that statue there. We're gonna attack it because it's gonna extend the time that we can stay in this instance. But we're gonna have all our black mages hit it at the exact same time so that we don't aggro anything else.
Yep.
Tactical Eureka.
and as long as it dies, we
You're
don't have
good.
to fight the rest of the stuff.
If
The
it
timer's
doesn't die,
extended, and we can
things
just move
spawn
to the next
and you
thing.
all wipe and you lost 1,000,000 gil because that's
Hug
how much
the
you
wall.
had to
Yeah.
pay to get into
Hug
that
the wall, yes.
zone. Yep.
Hug
yep.
the wall.
There's a lot.
Oh.
I mean,
I
it's
miss
kind of like
doing
when
those.
people are like, "I want a WoW classic," and
miss
you
doing
think
those?
about,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
I also loved Eureka. I love the idea of going
Sure.
into something and like it's not this very strict like song and dance. I have to step here or I'm gonna die, and then the party wipes. It's like we're gonna go in, some people will do this, we'll hit some stuff, we can goof around while we're doing it. Giant big group MMO content.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
That's me.
I mean, I don't see why they can't. I mean, who knows? We might see something similar to that in the 11 thing.
There's yeah.
for all
there's
we know, the
no
11
way.
raids take place in Dynamis zones.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way that they would transfer Dynamis as it was 1-for-1 into 14. There's
Oh,
just
no.
no way. But something
No.
similar with less restrictions
It doesn't,
and
it doesn't
more
work with the
14
battle
style.
system.
Okay,
Yeah.
I could see
Yeah.
that. That could be fun.
Yep.
Where were we? Mounts.
Mounts. Favorites.
So I only
mounts.
listed the top 3,
I was,
but we can go further.
yeah. I want to say real quick too before, since we were talking about legacy players, 1.0 players. I was very, very surprised in that benchmark that the Warrior of Light was riding a legacy chocobo.
I was not.
Somebody
I thought that was quaint as
made
hell.
that decision, and I was just like,
Yeah,
thank
someone
you for
did decide
remembering that we once lived. So yeah, favorite mounts. They had a whole list. We're gonna just do the top 3 for all these. Fat Cat coming in at number 3. SDS Fenrir number 2. That's the bike from Advent Children that Cloud drives around.
I feel like that's
Coming
for obvious
in.
reasons.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 1, the one mount from
Surprisingly.
Final Fantasy that no one could have predicted would be the number 1. The Company Chocobo.
Now, do you think this is number 1 because they're basing it off all players ever, what players ride? Because it
This
could
is
be
this is based off survey. This is survey, not stats.
It's a
Oh.
vote. Yeah.
These are all
all right. Well,
survey.
that's just cute.
Yeah, right?
Cute.
Yeah.
I love that, honestly.
Yeah.
That's super sweet.
Yeah, and just other things in the top 10 without going super into it. Demi Ozma, of course, right? Ozma,
Sure.
I mean, it's cool.
Mhm.
The Garland bike that you can get from Island Sanctuary, and like the regalia, right? Of course.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
What's you guys' favorite?
Favorite mount.
Hard to say.
Mine is
Favorite?
the like Shadow Pegasus with the black one with the red feathers.
Mine is either the Amaro or the Shadowbringers Collector's Edition weird graph thing that has the purple fabric as you fly. I love that one. I use that one constantly.
I like
Yeah.
Cruise Chaser.
Cruise Station Chaser.
Just
is great.
because that son of a bitch took me like 3 months to prog, and I like that
There you go.
I could just ride him around now at my
There you go.
convenience.
Yeah.
But right now I think Eden for me.
Okay, nice. I like that one. I like that one.
Because I think we
Yeah.
only cleared that like a couple times, and I got like the first mount drop, and also it's freaking Eden. Like, come on,
8.
Yeah.
It's 8.
it's 8.
Love
It's the 8. It's the 8 mount. Like,
Mhm.
Arc though might move up once that.
Arc
drops.
is-
Oh
Arc
yeah,
looks pretty
yeah,
solid.
yeah.
What about you, Rook?
Oh, it's tough. I feel like there's different ones at different times that I'm
Sure.
really taken by. Probably the Amaro for me too, though,
I
because
love the Amaro.
I just love that one, and I feel like the Amaros have such beautiful lore behind them with everything you get in the story, and I worked so hard to get it, and I felt so accomplished when I did. It felt really special, so I probably the Amaro, but then I have a bunch of others that kind of rotate that at any given time I'm like, oh, I love this one, or
Yeah. Current raid one, as long as it's not super weird, I usually do.
Axolotl.
Yeah, I don't like the axolotl.
What a
Oh,
choice that
Love-
was.
I
It's
love the
cute.
12S
I like
one.
the mount. I just wish it had been in something. I wish
Yeah.
the axolotl had been like the bicolored gems, or no. You know what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
The,
Fates
the
or
special
something.
obtainable mount,
That's
or
that's
the
like if they gave you the fat
Omni-
cat for defeating Omega. You're like,
Yeah,
alright.
or the Omni 90 mount. Like
Yeah.
I wish it
The
had been
Omni
that.
90 price this time was bullshit.
This is the
Oh, it was-
little headband or something, wasn't it? It was,
It was a
was
weird
dumb.
headdress.
Yeah.
It's not a
Yeah.
terrible headdress, but it's not even dyeable.
Yeah,
choices were made.
yeah.
Minions. So coming in at number 3, we have Lesser Panda.
Of course.
Coming in at
Nice,
number
nice,
2,
nice.
again, we have the Fat Cat. People like
People
their
like
fat
that
cat.
Always with the fat cat.
And then at number 1, we
chubby.
have the Starbird.
I was
Oh
actually surprised
yeah,
by this.
Yeah, it's
Starburst.
very surprising.
It's a
Like-
beautiful minion, to be honest, but like
Yeah,
via the origins of this, I was kind of like, really? Are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, yeah. We got like Midgar, Sormir, Morpho, the Corgi. That's also in their alpha. Somewhere in the top 10.
Yeah.
Favorite home points. These, let's be honest, none of
Yeah.
us are surprised by this. Coming in
No,
at
not
3,
even a little bit.
Old Charlian. Number 2, Gridania. Number 1, everybody, Limsa
Limsa.
Lominsa.
Ha!
It was interesting. I was looking at these. They did like 1 through 10. And the last
Yeah.
handful were all the housing zones except for the goblet. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody has the goblet. Ulda is 4. But
I-
my
I-
home point,
I have a house
because
with
I'm
the
stupid.
goblet.
is the
Weird.
Crystarium, which is at 5. I'm like, who still has the Crystarium? Are you going through Shadowbringers? Are you me? Like, what?
People
My
that
whole
are
is actually
just
Gridania.
living out their
Yeah.
Final Fantasy Xbox MMO beta fantasies.
There you go.
But it's only because my free teleport from having the token is limited.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
Guess I could swap them.
Yeah.
Then they had most formidable foe. Again, this was a survey. This is not based on stats. This is
Yeah.
just based on them asking people on a whim. Number 3, the Warrior of Light.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Endsinger.
Mm-hmm.
And number 1, Hades.
And when you try and think about power level, it's probably a little out of order, but Hades and Warrior of Light are like unsundered. You know what I mean? Like,
it's that's the one thing though too. It's like most formidable. Like, are you talking
yeah,
in terms of like actual combat or like narratively? Because like
Yeah.
I remember when like Endsinger came out, and then like Endsinger Extreme came out, and everyone's like, "This is like the easiest shit." Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
If,
This
if
is
we're
the final
going by
boss.
like character, I might give this listed okay. But if we're talking about actual like fight mechanics, no.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like this has to be narratively that
Must
It's
these
gotta
are
be.
the-
Yeah. If this was
Yeah.
mechanics,
Or that's how
like,
people interpreted it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, and again, right,
So-
player survey. So depending on who they asked, right? Like I would have put like Ozma up there. I would have put or
Sure.
whichever the BA one is, right? I would have also said
Mhm.
Absolute Virtue just to see if we could get him to number 1 in this game too. That would be great.
So, like, the rest of the top 10 is kind of funny just because there's like Athena, Zodiac, Heidelin.
Mhm.
Xenos is number 8, but then they said if they combine Shinryu with Xenos, he would be 5th. I don't think that
I
counts. don't think we can
audibly
count
made the
that.
joke when they were talking about these. I'm like, well, if they ask people that reviewed Stormblood, they're gonna say Shinryu.
Right. But number 10 was Nail. Nail Juice Darkness.
Oh, on that
Yeah.
list, made it
Yeah,
on.
on that list, number 10.
Good.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
well done, well done.
Higher than
Good.
anything else before Endwalker Shadowbringers.
Hmm.
Like,
It's where they
higher
deserve
than
to be.
anything
They
Stormblood.
need to be
Yeah,
on the top 10, hands down.
Yeah.
No question asked.
absolutely.
Dude was crazy. Dude had a fiery Sephiroth moment. He's
Yeah.
got to be in the top 10. Like, come on.
Absolutely. But I just thought it was funny because we were talking about Nail and not knowing. And where do they show up? Right there.
Right there?
That's cool.
Number 10 puts you at high B, low A tier.
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, I mean that was mostly it from the live letter.
Yeah.
Some fun stats, a little bit of Blacklist. Like obviously
Some swag.
they're saving some. Yeah, all the Japanese only stuff. I cried a little bit. They're like, check out this cool photo book thing. We're having a sale for the 3rd anniversary. I'm like, it's been 3 years already since you've had this thing over there, and we haven't. All right, that's fine.
I'm not going to lie. I want the Bahamut plate. Give me the Bahamut plate. It's so cool.
I was surprised that they brought those back because originally they had announced these before the JP Fan Fest, but the earthquake hit, and they actually had to cancel all the orders because the place that was making them got hit. So once they showed that they were coming back, I was like, oh, like that was okay. Yeah, they're really cool plates.
Yeah.
They made too many potato chips, so they're doing buy one box get one free. So if you like potato chips, please buy potato chips.
I want to know what that flavor is.
It's just plain.
Potato
I had a
chip.
bag of them. Because Chili, MDR Chili,
Yeah.
gave me a bag at
Aw.
EU Fan Fest. And yeah, they're just plain. They're just like regular salted potato chips.
Floor
That
tank
bag of chips
consommé
has
is
traveled
plain?
the globe.
My
Yeah.
gosh.
The bag
chips
was really
sold
cute
out
though, like the
already?
packaging
wow,
and
good.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently they because they had one run and they sold out really quick, so they made like a crap ton for the second wave, but then they couldn't sell all of them, so they're like, we need to get rid of these because it's a food product and it can go bad. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
there you go.
We talk
Yeah.
about the
Swag.
events that are coming back real quick.
Oh
Oh,
the
yeah,
events,
absolutely.
that's right. Yeah, lots of stuff coming up, and I don't say that like, oh yeah, there's a metric
Butt ton.
butt ton.
Uh-huh.
B by Bo butt ton.
I'm like, how crass do I want to get with this? I don't. So many things. So right now the 16 events going on. Starting on the 24th, we'll have Yokai, which people that are in the know knew this was coming. It's going to have a framers kit with it this time.
That's cool.
Then on the 14th, Treasure Trove.
Oh, just to
Yeah.
interject really quick, you can put the yokai weapons in the armoire now.
Hey,
Oh, that's cool.
There we go.
You didn't used to be able to do that. They've changed that recently.
I
And
thought
if
you
you haven't
could.
checked through your stuff, filling out your
I'll have to double check that. Yeah.
retainers,
They're
and
around
check your
somewhere.
stuff.
Yeah.
See if they can go away.
Moogle Treasure Trove, the second hunt for Genesis, not the Final Fantasy VII villain, the Tombstone. Just to be clear.
There's someone in Final Fantasy VII named Genesis. I am unfamiliar.
Did you never play Crisis Core?
No, and I never will.
Genesis was
He
like
doesn't want to
a.
know.
He was like a. He
I
was
know.
like a.
Is it gagged?
Alligator does not want to hear that.
He was like a. He was
It's
like
gacked,
a.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's cool.
It is gacked. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gagged.
He's
no,
like a
Gack literally
sexier
played a character.
poetry
Yeah.
reciting Sephiroth. Yeah,
No, 7 is the OG only to me.
that's fair.
This is why we're not going to do a 7 rebirth.
I see.
podcast.
There are too many feelings. Too
Oh,
many
there's
hot
way too many
takes.
feelings. There's too many hot takes. I would
I-
be canceled off the internet.
I have the feelings he has the hot takes.
Yeah.
My feelings also might be hot takes. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Moogle Treasure Trove.
Yeah. I want
Which
to
is a
see
weird thing
what's
to
in it.
say.
Yeah.
Did
So
they talk about? Oh, I missed it. Did they talk about
Mhm.
the specific prizes that'll be happening then? They haven't yet.
No,
I
I don't
don't
believe
think
so.
So that happens on the
Which
14th.
is interesting, right?
On the 15th, we'll have the Make It Rain campaign. And that's also the day
The start of the
before.
media tour?
So many things happening at once.
Yeah.
The media tour will start on Wednesday, the 15th. And the last day for it will be, looks like the 30th, 31st. The order they said was going to be Japan, NA, and EU. Maybe EU last because they always leak. Just these are facts. I'm sorry.
We're not allowed to say that.
Always EU.
Yeah.
I said it anyway. We all know. We all know.
No, we are not allowed
so
to say that.
Yeah.
obviously, if you come in here during those weeks and you're like, tell us things, we'll be like, no.
No.
So,
Yeah.
but on the 16th,
Don't think we'll have to.
yeah, it won't be as big of a deal this time around. On the 16th will be the next live letter, and that's the job live letter.
Yoshi P is going to tell you everything you want to know anyway.
yeah. So hopefully we'll find some stuff to be able to tell you still.
Honestly, I'm going to be real. And I realize that a lot of people got good views and clicks off of stuff, but I'm actually kind of glad they're doing it this way
Okay.
because the sheer amount of speculation that comes out based off of the media tour about the jobs and about what somebody's seen and about what, like, just having Yoshida-san be like, here's the stuff with the jobs. Like, I feel like is going to be so nice just to
Yeah.
have that as a framework going into the media tour and like having that
Yeah.
more official kind of discussion about it so that we don't have like a million Reddit back and forth. I mean, we still will. It always
yes.
happens
Sure.
anyway. But like, I kind of like that they're putting this in and that then for other stuff and like for the bigger picture, for whatever footage or everything else, you can get like the supplement of the media tour from that. And then like, actually those of us who may or may not be working on the media tour will be able to actually like have that as something to integrate into our discussion
to target
about
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Any qualms with where the live letter is a very specific problem to a very specific few amount of people.
I like all the conjecture that goes on. I don't visit Reddit during that time or ever, to be honest.
Yep.
But I like having those discussions. I like seeing people's ideas and that stuff. But I could see where having certain questions answered ahead of that would keep people from maybe turning into rage machines.
Well, and
Yeah,
this
that's
also
true.
kind of gets a one up on any potential leaks as well.
Yeah.
So
Wouldn't matter.
yeah.
It'll be interesting to me because media tour is where you get the in-depth, you get tooltips.
Yeah.
Do you think, because we know as just people in the media, tooltips used to be something that you had to get yourself.
Yep.
When you're there, and then that changed, right? They started to be like, okay, we'll help you, we'll provide you with that.
Yeah.
Why not just give them out after the producer live letter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
I am
at
kind
this
of
point?
left wondering, like, What else are you going to show us? Because like,
Yeah.
what else?
Yeah, so it would be
Why
the
have
job
us?
trailer.
Why have us go anywhere? Like,
I
Mm.
think what they're going to really do, and this will be the first time that they have ever done this. Usually in the media tour, there is the talk before you go and do stuff,
Yep.
and that's where where they tell you things like belts are going away forever. Put that
Yeah.
here. Put that there. Tell us the big system changes before we get our hands on, so that we can target what we want to see.
Sure.
I think that
Yeah.
that's a great idea. If they don't do that, I'm going to be very puzzled. What was this for?
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, it's one of those things. Like the reality of it is you don't know how it's going to impact things like clicks and hits, you know, until it happens, right? Obviously, for us, like I'm sure it's no surprise, media tour is kind of one of our bigger times on the website.
Mhm.
So to see this in the back of my head, I've been like, okay.
In the back of my head, I'm just like, I need to write more words because now everybody will know the generic stuff, so we have to focus on in-depth.
Yeah, and you're over
coverage.
here
I'm
like, do you think
wondering-
they'll just release
yeah.
tooltips to everybody? And I'm like, please, no. Like, let
I
us
am
have
wondering
something.
how deep they're gonna go. Because if
Yeah.
if
Sure.
they're straight up or like, here's a graphic, an infographic with all of the tooltips from every job, it's like, and what are we supposed to do now?
I mean,
Sure.
I
Look
imagine
at
that
look at
they'll-
this grass. Check out how many boxes there are in this little corner in Tulliola. Aren't those boxes neat? Don't they look really nice with their sharp textures?
I mean, I imagine that some of it will be talking about the graphical update, right?
Mhm.
Because that is a big thing. They'll probably want to show that off. But I can't help but also imagine that either the job talk with the live letter is going to be more kind of like overview. This is what we were focusing on. These are some of the new abilities. These are some of the, and then of course we'll actually see all of the tooltips, specific stuff, all of that kind of thing ourselves with Media Tour. Or I mean, yeah, maybe they're going to showcase some other stuff. Maybe they're going to showcase some content they haven't before in
They
Media
could,
Tour.
It's hard
For the
though. I
job-
mean, those job live letters, there's so much to go through though. I don't
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
they do that and have other info because they you know, I remember I think gosh, it was the Heaven's Word one. It was like 4 hours or something because they were
Yeah,
going
it was
through
very
like
long.
everything.
Well, maybe we'll get something like, obviously they're, well, who knows? Maybe it'll be something like, for example, but not actually, when they did all of the job gauge changes. There'll be some overarching thing they can talk about
be.
for every job, and then they'll go into in-depth stuff for like maybe Astro and Dragoon, since those two are getting actually
Yeah.
reworked.
Sure. Yeah, I mean we don't know.
hopefully
This is
that's
is new. Usually, we'll get the live letter. I think the most we've gotten it is like a few days before Media Tour embargo, if I remember.
Yeah.
I might be a little hazy on that, but
think
certainly
so.
not several weeks before the Media Tour is even done. So we'll see.
But like you said, I think if they do this well, Charles, they giving us things to focus on is going to be great.
Yeah.
Because the two of you have always gone and been like, all right, we're going to split this up. You're going to do this. You're going to go and get all the pictures. And just like having to plan it all out beforehand, watching you guys do it has been like, oh no, are they stressed a
Yeah.
little bit? So having this like,
It's a lot.
having this
There's a
prompt
lot
of
to do.
what will
Like-
be available might be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, you know, people are like, oh, I could do a podcast or I could do this stuff. I'm like, you'd have no idea how much work is needed to do this stuff. Media Tour
Specifically
is
off
like
the Media
that
Tour.
times 10. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
kind of crazy.
it's very intense. By my
Yeah.
one previous experience,
Yeah,
like
you've
I've
done
said,
it.
and I'll continue to say, it was the most intensive, most difficult thing I've ever done in content creation. Which is like it's super cool. But and in a sense, I'm not gonna lie, I've been a little bit glad that they're gonna do some of the job stuff and things because I'm like, that takes a little off my plate.
sure.
And I was already thinking
everybody
about
has
scaling certain
their
stuff
own
back, so.
style of, you know, how they cover it, right? They
Yeah.
invite somebody, you know, like a streamer that plays like 2 jobs. They're going to focus on those 2 jobs and they're not going to worry about wanting to cover everything like we do. So,
We also have the luxury that many streamers do not have of having a whole team of people who play the game and are going to do different aspects of the coverage.
Yeah.
yeah. So.
Whereas Rook is doing like everything by herself with maybe help from an editor.
How by master.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Media Tour. Make It Rain campaign ends at the end of May, and then on June 5th, we're gonna have Dragon Quest X event back. On the 14th, we'll
Coming
have
back.
another live letter. Yeah, get your what's the puff puff? Get your puff puff on.
You've just
Mhm.
been called
June
out in
5th.
chat.
What did
Some streamers spend hours talking about spirals.
I mean, look.
What?
Where's
If
the
I
hold
was
on?
using OBS, I would definitely go get my spiral out, but I cannot.
It's okay. Hold on. There's the Nautilus emote. There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
yeah.
on,
This live letter is interesting.
yeah,
June
it's like a
June 14th.
it's like a pre-launch. So this is going to be the live letter that's like, I would imagine what we usually kind of get at E3.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I mean,
a
it
little
is.
bit more content. Showing.
It is E3 week. Yeah, so they'll probably show off
Yeah.
a couple of things. I'm not sure. Usually, there's at least usually like one new product around this time. Like
Yeah.
we've had the Estinian Breaking Arts was one year, the Hori Gamepad was one year, but also they're not exhibiting at anything.
Yeah.
So who knows?
See, my conspiracy theory here is the first letter from the producer live, which is right after Media Tour starts.
Yeah.
Will be setting the tone. Media Tour will happen, but there's got to be some sort of embargo.
Yeah.
I would
absolutely.
guess. And that, to me, would not end until Media Tour ends. So sometime between Media Tour ending and letter from producer live.
I
82,
would imagine that
Yeah.
I would almost envision these as like a two-parter. You'll have
Yes,
a little bit of
exactly.
talk about something, media tour coverage, second live letter, and then launch.
Yeah.
So,
most likely.
a little different than we've had before.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll all see what happens
Yeah.
together. No idea. We have no idea what's going on. It'll be fun
Yeah.
and absolutely not chaotic in any way.
No, it's fine.
Everything's fine. Need to like set my lights so it could just like look like my room is on fire. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
So yeah, there we go. That is the schedule. And then everything else is done before Dawntrail launch, and that's going to be a 48-hour maintenance. They said they want to make sure people have plenty of time to download the expansion and all the fancy new textures and stuff. Will be interesting to see how that goes if the servers are down for 48 hours, but the maintenance is downloadable, or if the update is downloadable before that.
Oh, you know it will be.
It will be.
So yeah,
Like one of the things they mentioned is, it's 48 hours and this will give you time to download it because it's kind of big. And I'm like, well, depending on when you open that up, some people are really gonna have a knife and a fork, and they're gonna be digging right into those files. So you better be careful.
That's a very good point, though. Like, we have some Aussie buddies that we play D&D with, and their internet is abysmal. It takes them forever to download anything.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see.
I would say whenever the update goes live, that's when you want to stay off the internet.
Do not go there.
Because as soon as people can download the update, they'll be able to tell you who the final boss is. They'll be able to give you some area name drops.
Be careful.
That is just the nature of the beast. So as soon as you see that little bar starting to download, just obviously stay online so you can finish downloading the update. But close your socials and
no more scrolling.
No more talking to your friends if they really
Play
are
a
your
different
friends.
video game. Read a book.
Read a book.
Yeah.
Read a book.
You'll have 48 hours anyway of no game, so you're gonna have to do something else.
We could do a book club. Let's all pick a book right now.
Do you know how many other things I have coming up?
You don't have to
Destiny
come to the
2's
book club.
Destiny 2's expansion launches at the beginning of that month. I gotta play through
sorry.
that.
Yeah, another.
There's a lot happening. I
I'm
can't believe it.
sorry.
Elden
Because
Ring
you have so much to do.
Elden Ring.
Oh, okay. I was like, I gotta play Destiny. I am so sorry. I was like, I mean, it kind of, all right. Anyway,
I get it. Yeah. And then right after that is like a smaller subset, but Shin Megami Tensei. There's another game in the series like a week after this comes out. So yeah, there'll be a lot of people busy with reviews. Yeah.
And then like, what next week is Leviathan DLC for 16? It's like, oh right, that was a thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they got the producer
forgot all about
of 16
that.
to come on the stream and say that.
Oh,
yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's cool that they work so closely together.
Yeah, I like
Stop
how they
it.
have
All
such
of
a
you
good
stop it.
What is dead may never die. So Yeah,
That's
so there you go.
about-
That was it. We did a podcast. We talked about the
We did
things.
it.
I
Oh,
was-
one thing. There's a lot of TTRPG in this 14-hour broadcast.
oh yeah.
There is.
And
There's
that's
a
coming
lot.
out at some point in the next between now and
Mid-May or something. Yeah, so
There's
yeah,
so many things. I wasn't exaggerating earlier. There's so many things.
there's not much about the TTRPG. Thankfully, Reddit translators are going at it. I didn't think that they were going to, but they're going to do it. It's going to take them a little while. So we'll be talking about that. Only a little bit of stuff came out from their like explanation, but one of the things is it does seem like the 4-player limit might be for real and serious, because there were 6 players playing on stream, and they said that is not normally supported. Now either there is no 6-person party and there's a 4 and an 8, or there is no 6 or 8 party and it's only 4, because they also follow the 1 healer, 1 tank, and then they doubled up on 2 other things. So like that wouldn't really make sense. So maybe it is limited.
But also at the same time, they're showing, look, you can just like fudge it.
Yeah,
It's fine.
you can definitely do it.
If you
But
have
if it's
more
not
people that want to
supported-
play.
Yeah. If it's not supported, you're going to have to do a little bit of work, but we'll see how much.
But it's fine because
in about a month.
their DM was an official. They had the TTRPG staff hoodie on, so they knew what they were doing.
Yep. I actually, at some point, I tuned in to it, and I was just watching it, and I'm like, okay, so that must have been an attack roll, and this is that. Okay, that's that. And I stopped, and I thought, why am I not shoutcasting this?
Oh my god, that was
Such
Play by play. I kept
Oh my
seeing
goodness.
when they just had the table shot, and all the pages were just like shot out, like they're just like bright white. And I'm like, if you could just like zoom in and adjust the contrast just like a little bit, so that we can get a good
there was a
screenshot.
couple of screenshots, including I'll give a shout out to Chris, who helps out with news, because one of the first DMs I got while we were playing Daggerheart on our +1 shot channel was just a
Play
picture
test
of one of the
also.
character sheets. And I'm like, oh, okay, there's one. I'm going to have to look at that VOD. So thanks, Chris. I'm going to be
Such
looking
a
at
supportive friend.
That thing is going to be here before we even know it.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll be playing it,
Also
don't you worry.
mid-May?
Yes, it is mid-May. So
I
Oh,
honestly
gosh.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have it at Media Tour in some capacity.
don't say that.
I would. It'd be nice if we could just buy it. I
Maybe
would buy it
maybe
straight
they'll
from
just
Square
give it
Enix
to
if
us
I
at
didn't
Media
have to have it
Tour.
shipped.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be so nice.
Sometimes they give us a little journal. What did we Chocobo clocks or something? They'll just be like, here's the
Get like the
TTRPG.
spinny moon thing.
Spinny Moon
Square
thing?
Enix.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I always forget about that one because it was digital and not a physical event. Yeah.
I'm talking directly to you, Square Enix. If you need an established Game Master DM to run some sessions at Media Tour, just hit me up. Just saying.
I was like, I'm available. Mhm.
Yo, look, I know those flowers at Ilneg look really cool, but you'd like want to roll some D20s over here.
Yeah,
Honestly, they're probably still talking with Mercer after all the 7 stuff. Just bring him
I would
over.
guess so. Yeah, why not have him do it?
Dude, if they
That'd be
invited
cool.
me to a media tour and they're like, all right, so here's the game over here. Also, Mercer's running TTRPG sessions. I'll be like, I've played the game before.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so yeah,
Yep.
we're gonna be busy, fam.
There's a lot of news coming.
We're gonna be
there's a lot.
So busy.
The drought is almost over. Just hang in there.
It's
Keep hanging in there. Keep
we're
holding
like
on.
sitting here, we're just like in the desert, like, oh man, and all of a sudden we're just like gonna get like this like tsunami, like tropical storm, or we're gonna be soaked, but we're gonna look so good.
Yeah.
I brought it back one more time. All right.
Well done. Well done.
If you want, if you feel like it, you can find me on the internet. All the things Raffledurg, RFLDRG. On YouTube, that is an X. At some point in the next week or so, I will have a new video. I unboxed a lot of stuff the other day on stream. I have so many things. I just have this giant box. Like, I can just reach in right now and be like, check out this cool little pen holder.
It's so
You want to see more about it? I unboxed it. Check it out. So many things. But yeah, that's it for me. Zen.
That's me. I do a thing on the internet. It's this thing. I'm gonna do a different thing on the internet. Sometimes, always. I put it up on the Twit-Twat and the Blue Sky. My Twit-Twat is Sinedra_A. It's fine. Don't worry about it. My Blue Sky is just Sinedra. No underscore, no A. The thing that I do, is here, or on +1 shot, plus the word 1 the number shot the word. I was trying a new a pattern to this. I don't like it. I'm not gonna do it next time.
No. I felt like it was a little off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the thing that Charles and I do with a couple of our friends involving tabletop RPGs. Yesterday we did, as he mentioned, a little playtest of Daggerheart, which is Critical Role's new.
I was gonna say, speaking of Mercer.
Yeah.
It's actually really fun. I have some of the cards somewhere. Little cards.
Yep.
Nice.
Little cards you play with.
Oh, fancy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm throwing them on the floor now. And,
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're interested in the TTRPGs that we have been talking about, go check it out over there because we have and/or will play it soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'll you know.
Hi, hello. You
Hi.
can find me here and only here. That's not true. That's becoming more and more less true.
We've got
Is that a
Aldino
good
under
sentence?
an exclusivity contract. He can't.
That's right.
Yeah.
Non-compete.
Yeah, non-compete. I can't do it. But I am also on plus the word 1 the number shot the word. Run games sometimes. That'll happen more often very soon. But as I said before, TTRPG season is almost upon us, so keep an eye out here for our coverage on that, and probably kind of in teamwork with plus one shot because I'm going to do a lot of it over there too. So just keep your eye on that as we get into TTRPG season. That's it for me.
Is there a season for that?
There is now because it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they made it. It's new.
Spring.
Yeah.
All right, and Rook.
Yes, hi, I'm Rook or Rookery. That's ROOKURI. You can find me over on my own channel at twitch.tv Rookery. You can find me on YouTube at the same, and you can find me on Twitter at Rookery_. Very excited about the coming months. Definitely not stressed, just excited. Maybe a little stressed, but also very excited. No, it's going to be an absolute whirlwind. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to sail into Dawntrail with all of you, and it just keeps looking more and more wonderful. So keep an eye out because we'll be doing a lot of stuff there, and I'll also still be doing all of my content elsewhere, this podcast and the Lightbringers podcast, and doing some hosting, doing some events, doing some shoutcasting for a variety of different games. So keep an eye out for those announcements.
Make sure to also check out if you are like so many people after PAX East, they're like, oh my gosh, FF9 in Dawntrail?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I had already. I just want to
Yeah.
say, I had already started Final Fantasy IX by then. So
Rook was like, I've been thinking about playing another game. I'm like, you should do 9. She's going through
It's
9.
true.
So if you want to watch like a playthrough of 9, if you want to watch somebody laugh at what was boys peeing off walls.
they do that in Final Fantasy IX.
do that.
Apparently,
They do that with
There's a
tinkle
whole
sound
scene.
effects.
There's a lot of tinkle dialogue that I wasn't expecting.
There's the what was the
Tinkle
is too
dialogue.
soft and has lost the will to live. What was the
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it.
that.
Okay, that's
Look,
fine.
Uh-huh.
There have been some saucy jokes that have happened because the game is saucy. It gets saucy sometimes. It's very tongue in cheek, but it's also so charming and so emotional and so gut wrenching. And I've cried and I love all the characters so much. And it's been amazing. So yes, I am. Thank you for shouting that out, Fusion. I am playing through Final Fantasy IX for the very first time over on the channel. We've been highlighting and archiving all of it so you can catch up if you haven't seen it yet. And feel free, come jump in with us because it's really been unforgettable and it has me so excited to a degree that I wouldn't have been before for the 9 references in Dawntrail.
All right. And then, if you want, you can contact us, the show. Generic, vague term, broad sense. Aetheryte Radio at gamerscape.com if you want to email us on X and Blue Sky at Aetheryte Radio. And then as Gamerscape on X, Blue Sky, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Discord. We have so many. We have so many socials. There's so many socials. It's like 1,000. It's insane. We do try and keep up
need
with
to go
them.
back to
It's
counting.
hard. It's there's so many. But yeah, that's where you can find us. And obviously, you can find us here, wherever you're watching us right now.
Yeah.
Like there's like a Twitch chat over here. People that are on. Oh, why is it showing all the bot stuff? That's just like flooding. Twitch chat. Man. Anyway. Yeah, we're around. You'll find us. Obviously, as we get closer to Dawntrail, we are going to be talking about a lot of stuff. So please look forward to it. Until then, we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.